Welcome into the high noon stream of the Pugs & Company show. I am Pugs Moran. This is the first of two streams that I do each and every day here on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This one, we call it High Noon. We come on, well, coincidentally, at high noon. Central Standard Time. All things are Central Standard Time. Coolest time zone there is, man. That's what I'm saying. This one is more about trending topics, current events, things that people are talking about, all that good stuff. The Pillow Talk edition, which we do at 9 p.m., also Central Standard Time. That's called the Pugs and Parker edition. And Parker and I, we just talk about nonsense. What did we talk about last night? We did some nonsense last night, I think. I don't know, whatever it is. That's more of a chemistry where we talk about whatever happens to organically come up. That's not entirely true. I mean, we do have things prepared and things that we want to offer that we think the other person will, have an interesting opinion on. But sometimes we just spend the whole hour doing something that just, organically came up. Like one night last week, we spent the entire hour just scrolling through Ukrainian mail order bride sites and just looking at the talent, just trying to see what's available out there for anybody interested in acquiring a Ukrainian mail order bride. So that was fun. You can go find that if you want. Although maybe that doesn't sound like the best endorsement for, the 9 o'clock show. But hey, whatever. We do too. This one is about topics. This one is about current events. This is, I like to say, utilitarian in nature. We try to get y'all prepped up for the day ahead so that you know exactly what's happening. And no one ever says, hey, did you hear about, then you can say, yeah, actually, I did hear about that because I was listening to the Pugs & Company High Noon stream on the Radio Misfits podcast and streaming network. Okay. Let's see here. Lots of stuff going on today. We need to get through. First of all, we'd like to start out by telling you what today is. Today is, of course, January the 25th, the 25th day of the year. 340 days remain until the end of the year. Here, let's start with our moment of joy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Leslie plus one. Oh, we got two Leslies in here. All right. Today's moment. Oh, geez. Look who we got. We got the little idiot. Would you go to bed? Go to bed. Get in the bedroom. Go. Get in the bedroom. Or lay there. Whatever. I'm sorry, folks. The dog was, there's something going on in the back alleyway. And the dog tends to just bark, 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 whatever's going on back there. And we've got we got a doctor who lives on the corner there. Dr. Snooty Face, and he's like, oh, I can't believe that dog is barking again. I must call the police. We must have that dog put down. No, that's not really what he's saying, but we get in trouble. All right, good girl. Yeah. All right, she found a nice little spot where the sun is shining through the window, and now she's like an animal in the zoo. When you see animals just laying around in the zoo, they find where the spot where the sun is, and they just lay there. All right, good girl. You stay there. Don't be a problem, okay? Moment of joy today. We like to start each and every show out with a little something to put us in a good mood. Now, I thought this was just wonderful. I really did. I saw it and I laughed and I went, yeah, all right, that's pretty fun. That seems great. Is this it? Yeah, there it is. I thought this was pretty great. But then there's a whole bunch of people going, he shouldn't be doing that. That's not something he should be doing. And, this is a dad playing football with his children in the living room. I'm guessing mom ain't home. I'm thinking mom is probably at the grocery store. Dad's watching the kids. He's got two daughters and he's got a boy. Now, here's the setup here. The two daughters seem to be playing the offensive line position, which seems strange. Dad is acting as the defensive rusher, the edge rusher. And the son, who appears to be about 12 years old, is the quarterback. Now, the controversy on this is that people are saying that Dad is playing way too rough with his kids. Here's what I'll say before we see it. He's being fine with the daughters. The daughters are fine. He didn't hit the daughter. But he's coming hard for the son. He is coming hard for the 12-year-old son. And honestly, as a father of a 12-year-old boy, no problem with that at all. 12-year-old boys are pretty strong, pretty tough. They can handle it, Sure, there's a weight and a size difference here. Dad looks to be in pretty good shape. Dad's got some moves. But people are criticizing dad for smashing the kid. But not me. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right. This is how a dad's got to play with a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old boy needs to be toughened up, not beaten, not abused, but he needs to be, you can't handle him with kid gloves. You got to make sure that they understand that they're going to fall down. They're going to get hit. They're going to get smacked in the face. And you don't have to cry about it. You just go, damn, that hurt. Just here you go. Your moment of joy. Okay. Okay, there's one. Sack dead. Here's the controversial one. I love it. Here's a BAM! Takes him right down. Oh. Nice. I don't have any pinky. The little girl jammed her finger trying to stop her dad from an all-on bull rush on the sun. Here, we'll watch it one more time because I just love this. I play hard with my kid like this. Okay, there's a little bit of a throw a flag on that one. That's a hand to the helmet. That's a flag. I don't have any pinky. Little girl is so cute. Oh, come on. That's wonderful. That's your moment of joy. That's good times there. Couple of flags. I'd have thrown a number of flags, and we can all agree, right? Mom ain't home. Mom is not home, right? That's pretty clear. Mom is out shopping. Mom is doing something. That doesn't happen with mom in the next room. All right, what happened today? Why is today, January the 25th, such an important day? Well, on this day in 1947, hey, you gamers out there should be celebrating. On this day in 1947, Thomas Goldsmith Jr. files a patent for a cathode ray tube amusement device. Cathode ray tube amusement device. It's classified as the first ever electronic game. And now look. He wouldn't even recognize a PlayStation. In 1949, the first Emmy Awards are presented in the United States. The venue is the Hollywood Athletic Club. Today, the first Emmy Awards. In 1960, on this day, the National Association of Broadcasters in the United States reacts to the payola scandal by threatening fines for any disc jockeys who accept money for playing specific records. Payola. Now, look, I've worked in radio a long time. It didn't stop in 1960. I mean, they said, hey, in 1960, they said, hey, stop that. You're going to get in trouble. If we happen to be in the room and see the record company guy give you money, you're going to be in trouble if that happens. It went on for years and years. And it actually became even more. they in the 70s and 80s, they just switched to cocaine. They just started giving, like, you'd get a stack of albums, and inside the sleeve of one of the albums would be like a big bag of blow, which is probably what DJs of that era preferred. I was an assistant music director, so I've sat in on a lot of music meetings where the record company guys come in. Hey, man, we got this brand new album, man. It's going to be great. You're going to love this. It's got all the things the kids want to hear. It's going to be perfect for your quarter-hour sweeps. Radio bullshit. And I just sit there, and as assistant music director, my job in that was to sit with the program director. The program director was program director and music director. I do both, but I really only do one job. I don't do the music directing. That's why I have an assistant. And I would sit there, and they'd put all these records on the table, and then, or in my day, it was CDs. So they'd put all the CDs on the table, and then he'd talk up each and every CD and why we should be playing it. And then the meeting would end, and then the guy would leave, and my boss, the program director, would go, okay, so I need you to listen to all of these CDs, every song by, Day After Tomorrow. I'd be like, all right, fine. And it was cool because it was my job to go, I like this song. I don't like this one. This one he's right about. This is a banger. This should be played. And then, I'd hear the songs that I picked playing on the radio, and then, I'd feel pretty good about it. I feel like, look at me. I'm a 24-year-old with power. I'm a 24-year-old who just made the career of the Spin Doctors, or, whatever it was that I was playing back then. And I never saw payola per se in the way that it's described here on this day in 1960. There was never money exchanged. I never even saw drugs or anything like that. But there were other things like, hey, I just happen to have these tickets to the Bulls game. Anybody want them? I can't make it. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll take them. Stuff like that. And they also brought food. You loved the day when the record company guys would show up at the radio station because they just so happened to have crates and crates of food. Like they'd bring in sandwiches, deli for the whole station. Donuts were kind of the default. If they just showed up with donuts, it was like, well, you're not really trying here, are you? I mean, where is the big spread from Jason's Deli that's supposed to feed the entire station? Do you or do you not want us to play the new Live album? Okay, I was gonna listen to Live Mental Jewelry, but I'm feeling so famished I may not have time because I'll have to go get my own lunch today. That's how payola worked in my day. 1960 was the day that it was officially called out and banned by the National Association of Broadcasters. On this day in 1971, Charles Manson and 4 family members, Charles Manson and the Manson family, 1971, they were found guilty of the 1969 murders of Sharon Tate and the La Bianca couple who owned a bunch of food stores there in Los Angeles. Plane crashes. Hey, Pugs, what about the plane crashes on this day? You say there are plane crashes every day of the year. Well, there was. In 1990, Avianca Flight 52 crashes in Cove Neck, New York, killing 73 people on board. And also on this day in 2010, and the airline. I'll get to that. 2010 and the airline doesn't really fit my criteria. My criteria is that I believe planes have crashed every day of the year between 1945 and 2000. Now, that doesn't mean that like in 1946 there was a plane crash that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is on any random day that you pull up the things that happened today, there will be a plane crash between the years 1945 and 2000. And I draw the line at 2000 because I assume that commercial airline travel had worked all the bugs out by 2000. This one happened in 2010, so it doesn't really fit my criteria, and it's also Ethiopian Airlines. So Ethiopian Airlines Flight 409 crashes into the Mediterranean off the coast of Nama, Lebanon, killing 90 people on board. First of all, you shouldn't be flying Ethiopian Airlines. Those people, they have difficulty feeding their own people. I can't imagine that they've got, proper maintenance or anything like that. Imagine, what would be worse? Like flying like Kazakh Air, like some weird fly-by-night Eastern European sort of, rinky-dink airline, or Ethiopian? I don't know. I would fly. There's very few, I think, African-based airlines that I would fly. I would fly South African Airlines, because they seem to be like the most Western of the African nations. But yeah, I ain't flying no Ethiopian Airlines. I ain't flying Ugandan Airlines. Is there even a Uganda anymore? Is that still a country? I'm not flying like Tanzania Express. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I got the sketchiest airline I ever flew was some off-brand Irish airline, and I felt really Ryanair, I think it was Ryanair. You could look at it. Ryanair is like it's like the southwest of Ireland that flies like from Ireland to like Europe and stuff. Felt a little sketchy on that one, so I ain't getting on no Ethiopian airline. Sorry, I'll swim. Birthdays on this day. We do have birthdays. I'm only mentioning this guy because I talked about him the other day when we discussed Meatloaf in our radio station softball game against Meatloaf and his team comprised of former professional baseball players. Chris Chelios is having a birthday today. Chris Chelios was a ringer on our team, and Chris Chelios is the guy that proved to me that just because you're a professional athlete in one sport doesn't mean you can play third base in a 16-inch softball game. Terrible. He was terrible. A magnificent hockey player. One of the great defenders of all time. Fabulous. Terrible playing the hot corner in a softball game against Meatloaf. Happy birthday, Chris Chelios, born on this day in 1962. Born on this day in 1981. One of my crushes. I got some crushes. Born on this day in 1981, Alicia Keys, American singer, songwriter, pianist, and actress. She's a woman, boy. She is beautiful. She is elegant. She is dignified. She is classy. She is educated. She just comports herself well. She's just fan. Happy birthday, Alicia Keys. I don't know if she's married or not. I don't really keep track of my crushes. What's the point? Look at me. I do a stream here. It's not like in any. There's probably a place in the multiverse where Alicia Keys and I are together. I mean, if like they say in quantum mechanics, if the world is ever expanding, then every single possibility could exist somewhere out in the world or in the universe, in the ever expanding universe. So somewhere I am married to Alicia Keys. Somewhere we're divorced, and somewhere we're mortal enemies. Okay, yeah. Take another hit of the bong there, huh? Dead on this day. I don't typically mention these, but this is a big one. 5 years ago today, Mary Tyler Moore died. American actress, producer. She was sort of the one who took the mantle from Lucy. Lucille Ball was like the greatest female television personality creator of all time. And then Mary Tyler Moore came along, and she had a string of stuff, and she was really good, and everybody loved Mary Tyler Moore. You know who I think it is now? You know who I think is the heir to the throne of Lucy and Mary Tyler Moore? I do, and I might be wrong, and maybe some of you in the chat room have a better suggestion for me. I think it's JLD. I think it's Julie Louis-Dreyfus. I think that when you look at her resume, she's done Saturday Night Live. She did a number of sitcoms. One was a moderate hit in the 80s. Then she did Seinfeld, and then she did Veep. And, she's JLD. JLD is the new Mary Tyler Moore. All right, let's get into what's trending and what everybody is talking about. This was trending from last night, but it's still trending at number one. And, we'll recap it. We talked about it a little bit last night. Neil Young is trending. Why is Neil Young trending? Neil Young has notified his management and his record company or whatever that he does not want his catalog of music featured on Spotify anymore because he blames Spotify. He holds Spotify responsible for putting out anti-vaccine propaganda through their promotion of the Joe Rogan show. Neil Young says they can have Rogan or they can have Young. Neil Young wrote in a letter to his manager at the label, they can't have both. Young demands Spotify remove his music over false information about vaccines featured on multiple Joe Rogan podcasts. I mean, okay, I think that he's right. I think there's misinformation out there, but I also think personal responsibility of the individual plays a big part of this. I mean, I can listen to Joe Rogan's misinformation on any number of subjects. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm like, that's not true. I mean, I see how he's getting to that thought, but it's a bit reductive and oversimplified. It's a little more complicated than I think the way it's being presented, and not just on vaccines, on a lot of things. But I enjoy the Joe Rogan podcast. Sometimes there are just truly terrific interviews with very interesting people. Other times, it's a bit more problematic. But it's your responsibility. It's our responsibility. It's the responsibility of we, the people, to be able to take this content and then go, okay, do I believe it or do I not believe it? Neil Young seems to be saying that, that doesn't play into his decision. He just doesn't like that this fake information is being put out there. I think whatever. I think we need to be more studious. I think we need to be more, if we want to believe what we want to believe, we can believe it. The other problem here is that I don't think Neil Young is truly understanding the ramifications of what he's saying here. Spotify as a business is going to look at this and go, average age of the Joe Rogan listener is 23 years old. Average age of the Neil Young downloader, person who listens to Neil Young music on Spotify, is 60. Yeah, well, probably not even. It's probably younger because I think overall, people who listen to Spotify in general are younger. But it's not the same. I mean, if you just look at, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'd love to see this story in follow-up stories. I'd love to see numbers. I'd love to see numbers of how many times Neil Young songs are listened to on Spotify versus how many times Joe Rogan's podcast is listened to. I don't think Neil Young is looking at this long form. If Neil Young takes his catalog off Spotify, and one of the reasons that I have Spotify and I pay for Spotify, my kid loves Spotify, and it's terrific. Spotify is wonderful. When I was a kid, when we were kids, we used to have to sit and we'd have a cassette tape in a boombox, and we would wait for our favorite song to come on, and then we'd hit record just as the song was starting. Inevitably, we would clip the first 5 seconds of the song, so we wouldn't even get the full song. Or, you'd have to wait until a record from a new artist that you wanted to hear was going to be available in stores, and we'd run out to the record store. It was all we knew. So I don't think we knew how inconvenient it was. But based on the modern technology, any song that my 12-year-old son wants to hear, boom, Spotify, instantly. He wants to hear it 10 times in a row, Spotify, 10 times in a row. Neil Young, if he is concerned at all about his legacy, and these older, aging icons of music should be concerned at this stage of their career about their legacies moving forward. He needs to be available on these platforms. He needs to be somewhere where the next generation of music lover is going to be able to easily discover their genius. That's just a fact. If Neil Young in 20 years is only available through old record collections or, stuff, they're going to die off. They're going to be completely forgotten about. They're going to be, not remembered. Joe Rogan, on the other hand, he's hot right now, and Spotify is about making money right now. I heard some discussions, and I myself use the, we don't know whether or not Joe Rogan is going to be an icon, a cultural icon, or whatever it is. We know that Neil Young is. We don't know that Joe Rogan is. But right now, Joe Rogan is very hot. I said yesterday, 30 years ago, Morton Downey Jr. was really hot. Morton Downey Jr. seemed like someone that was going to be around forever. We don't know. We don't know how long, Joe Rogan. Are people going to tire of it? Is it going to move? I don't know. But Spotify, from a purely business standpoint, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's, well, Neil, we're sorry to see you go. And, we don't think it's in your best interest to not be available for new people to discover your music. Up and coming generations of music aficionados are going to be, they're going to be ignorant towards your genius, and I'm sure Spotify will butter them up. This is a bad decision. I mean, I guess I applaud it from the standpoint that he's taken a stand and he doesn't want his music associated with that, but it's short-sighted. It is short-sighted, my man. Leslie says Young isn't as relevant today, but he's within his rights to do this. Of course he is. Of course. Actually, I don't know that he is, because he's got a record company, and I don't. Granted, I don't understand exactly how this works with artists on Spotify, but I believe his catalog is controlled by a record company. And does the record company want it? I mean, and could there be some sort of retaliation by Spotify? Okay, Neil Young record company, you are going to take all of Neil Young off of our thing. Well, you know what? Then we're just not gonna post some of your newer stuff. I don't know. I don't think that Neil Young can just say my music is no longer on Spotify. I think that he's paid to not have that right anymore. I think that he probably makes money through a contract, through a publishing contract, and there's probably other people wearing suits at, whatever record label he's with, who are going to go, yeah, we're not going to do this, Neil. Sorry. But then do they want to go to war with Neil? And then it becomes, again, a question of relevancy. The record company, they might not want to go to war with Taylor Swift, but I don't know. Are they really all that worried about Neil Young? Is he going to have another iconic cornerstone moment in music, or is he done? Has he pretty much made all of the stuff that's going to sell the way his other stuff is? So I don't know. I just think it's very short-sighted. I think that Neil Young should go on Joe Rogan's podcast and fight with him. I think there you go. That's how you do it. Get your side out that way. Don't just deny future generations being able to easily access your material, because that's not good for you. Also in music, another thing that is trending today, we talked about this as well last night briefly. There was a fight brewing, not a fight brewing, a real fight. A fight between Damon Albarn of Blur, the band Blur, and Gorillaz, that animated group Gorillaz that had a couple of hits. Damon Albarn gave a interview to the LA Times, and it was published on Sunday. I'll read it to you. British musician. Here, we'll put it out there. I'll tell you. First, I'll give you context, because this is the latest update. So, as they say, in the interview, the guy who did the interview, what's his name? Andrew Wood? Is it Andrew Wood? I don't know. In the interview, Wood described Taylor Swift as an excellent songwriter, to which Damon Albarn quipped, "She doesn't write her own songs." When the journalist restated that Swift writes her own songs and co-writes others, Albarn disagreed. "That doesn't count. I know what co-writing is," he said. "Co-writing is very different to writing. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just saying there's a big difference between a songwriter and a songwriter who co-writes." Albarn instead said he preferred Grammy-winning singer Billie Eilish, calling her a really interesting songwriter. "I'm more attracted to that than to Taylor Swift. It's darker, less endlessly upbeat, way more minor and odd. I think Billie Eilish is exceptional," he added. Eilish co-writes most of her own songs with her brother Phineas O'Connell. So there you go. So he's talking, he says co-writing is not real writing, then talks about the brilliant writing of Billie Eilish, and then it's revealed that Billie Eilish is a co-writer on her songs with her brother. It's not the first time that Albarn has come under fire for criticizing other artists, having previously described Adele as, quote, very insecure in a 2015 interview with the UK's Sun newspaper, and criticizing her 25 album as being middle of the road. However, in an interview later with BBC, Albarn denied ever making the remark, saying he would never call her insecure and that her openness was her great strength. Albarn's most recent remarks on Swift sparked a backlash on social media. So he said that about Taylor Swift, and then Taylor Swift responded on Twitter swiftly. She said, "I was such a big fan of yours until I saw this," Swift wrote to Albarn. "I write all my own songs. Your hot take is completely false and so damaging. You don't have to like my songs, but it's really effed up." And Taylor said the whole word. Taylor out there dropping F-bombs. "But it's really effed up to try and discredit my writing. Wow." And then she adds, "P.S. I wrote this tweet all by myself, in case you were wondering," she added sarcastically. All right, so that's how it all started, right? Guess what happened this morning? British musician Damon Albarn has apologized unreservedly and unconditionally to American singer Taylor Swift after claiming she didn't write her own songs. Albarn, best known as frontman of the bands Blur and Gorillaz, made the comment in Los Angeles to the Los Angeles Times with pop music critic Michael Wood, published on Sunday. Now, here, let's see. There's a little bit more here in this article that I thought was interesting. Several high-profile social media accounts backed Taylor Swift on Twitter, including, oddly enough, the official Empire State Building account, which tweeted, "No one does it better than you, Swiftie." Meanwhile, streaming platform Tidal posted screenshots of Swift's latest release, a reissue of her 2012 album Red, and circled the credits to 2 songs which show her as the sole composer and lyricist, adding, "Tidal can confirm Taylor's pen game is strong." So there you have it. No word yet on whether or not Taylor Swift has accepted the apology of Damon Albarn. Here's the thing, a little bit of context for Damon Albarn. he is a troublemaker. He has been a troublemaker since the 90s. I mean, this is a guy. Okay, so Blur and Damon Albarn were in sort of a long-running feud with the boys from Oasis. And if you know anything about Oasis, and I love Oasis, those guys feuded with everybody. Oasis were just troublemakers. But he was, he's just always been sort of an instigator and a bit of a troublemaker. And he certainly, he had some hits, and he's still probably fairly big in England and in the UK, but he's not really someone that people know right away here. Like if you say Damon Albarn, I mean, I only know who Damon Albarn is because I worked at an alternative rock station in the 90s. And, Damon Albarn hot takes, were always something that was fodder for the alt rock jocks. So I'm very familiar with what he's all about. We will see. This story is awaiting a response from Taylor Swift. So as they say, developing ... If I would advise Taylor, here would be my advice to Taylor. He's nobody. The most publicity that he's received in 20 years was your tweet telling him to basically F off. He apologized. Walk away, Taylor. Don't accept it publicly. Just don't give the story any more heat. Just let him. He was being obviously an ignorant jerk when he was talking shit on you, Taylor. You don't need this, Taylor. You do not need it. Also trending today, Hall of Fame. Today is Hall of Fame Day. For the Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball will be tonight, MLB Network. I'm a big Major League Baseball fan, as you know. Major League Baseball Net is going to do like their big yearly primetime special where they announce who's going to make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Excuse me. And, it's looking like only one guy is going to go in from the class this year. There should be, in my estimation, a number of people going into the Hall of Fame class this year. But just one guy. It looks like right now, as far as released information about how the voting has been going, it looks like David Ortiz, Big Papi, is probably going to be the only one to go into the Hall of Fame this year. And he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. Now, but Pugs... why is he going in and not people like Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, who are now in their 10th? This is their last chance to get in as a relevant player, as a player within, the time frame of their retirement. And, they're not getting in, Pugs, because of all of the performance enhancing drug argument and all of that kind of stuff of the era. So, it's not like David Ortiz was never accused. It's not like David Ortiz. Well, I think David Ortiz should go in because right now he's receiving votes from the people who vote on this kind of stuff. But I also think that Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds should go into the Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous to me that because we live in an era where we can now investigate all of the wrongdoings of these players, that some of the greatest players in the history of the game shouldn't be in. Do you know the players that are in the game? There are people Ty Cobb murdered somebody. Ty Cobb was a murderer and got away with it. And everybody's like, yeah, he murdered somebody. Talk about it all the time. Ty Cobb was an absolutely terrible person, and he's in. He's in because back then they didn't look at things like this. Do you know how many players in the 1970s were cokeheads who would do crap tons of cocaine before a game so that they could get that? Amphetamines. Half of the bases that were stolen between 1970 and 1985 were stolen by guys who were hopped up on amphetamines. I mean, this is performance enhancing drugs. Am I happy that steroids became a thing in the 80s and into the 90s? No, not at all. I mean, whatever, but, chicks dig the long ball. And I guess in this respect, I'm a chick. I have Barry Bonds, okay? Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens already had Hall of Fame careers before they started doing steroids. It's just a fact. Barry Bonds is one of the greatest baseball players to have ever lived. And if he's not in the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame has absolutely zero credibility. Same goes for Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens is a jerk. Roger Clemens, was kind of a liar, but most professional athletes who have been coddled their entire life, who've been surrounded and insulated by yes people, those people mostly suck. They really do. If you were to run into them in public, if you were arguing over a parking spot at the Kroger, you would learn that your football, baseball, basketball, professional athlete heroes are all mostly dickheads. They're arrogant, they're selfish. That's all. But that's not again, that didn't just start with Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. So whatever, right? I mean, let's just. Oh, there are some old men going in. We should mention this too, because every year they put in like the old timers committee, where guys who didn't make it in their first time around and they exhausted their opportunities as being recently retired players. They get on like the old timers vote. So we can mention, let's see who's getting in. Well, I mean, I know Minnie Minoso, the Cuban Comet. He's getting in. Minnie Minoso. Minnie Minoso should have gone in back, 30 years ago, but unfortunately he's not. Ortiz, who is currently trending at 86% of the ballots, which means that he should get in tonight. David Ortiz, a 10-time All-Star who spent most of his career with the Boston Red Sox. He leads a group of 13 first-time eligible players. Okay, so these are the first time. This is what's known as, first ballot Hall of Famer. That's like the highest honor that you can get in baseball. If you are voted in, you're very first time eligible. So the first time eligible Hall of Famers, Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez is not going to get in for a while. Not because he was he completely stung by steroids, or was it just accusations? I don't know. I'd have to look in it. I know that he was involved with like a shady Miami group that was, giving whatever. I'm not sure. I don't want to. Alex Rodriguez is just simply not liked. He wasn't liked by the press. He was in the press is who votes on these things. Nobody liked Alex Rodriguez, so that's his problem. Does Alex Rodriguez deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah. Other first timers: Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, and Tim Lincecum. None of those guys are first timers. I think of that group, Jimmy Rollins, but Jimmy Rollins was injured. None of those guys are first timers. Only A-Rod and Rollins seem to be getting any serious consideration from voters, but neither will be close to induction this year. Players elected Tuesday will be enshrined on the 24th in Cooperstown, along with the Era Committee selections. So here's the old timers who are going in. Buck O'Neil. How is Buck O'Neil not in the Baseball Hall? The Baseball Hall of Fame is garbage, man. It really is. That's just pure racism that Buck O'Neil is not in the Hall of Fame. Buck O'Neil is going in finally. Minnie Minoso is going in finally. Gil Hodges is going in finally. Tony Oliva is going in finally. Bud Fowler is going in finally. And interestingly enough, Jim Katt is going in to the Hall of Fame. Now, why am I laughing about Jim Katt? Because just a couple of months ago, Jim Katt was banned or pulled off of the Major League Baseball postseason broadcasts because he said something that was, I don't know. Jim Katt was during the White Sox. I don't even know who the White Sox played now. The Astros. It was during the White Sox-Astros series. And Jim Katt was talking about White Sox third baseman Yoan Moncada, and Yoan Moncada is built like a brick shithouse. I mean, he's just. And Jim Katt, as the play-by-play guy, said something to the effect of, I would love to have 40 acres of that guy working the field, which is like it's like a throwback to like having the biggest and strongest slaves working your field. And so Jim Katt was like basically banned immediately. An inning later, he had to come on and issue an apology. Oh, sorry, I guess I said something that was wrong. And he was basically kicked off of the rest of the postseason broadcasts. Didn't stick though, because a couple of months later, he's going into the Hall of Fame. And he probably deserves it based on, come on. But it is funny that you've got a guy with a recent... all right, so that's the issue with Ortiz, Clemens, and Bonds, okay? Now, there is another guy that's trending, and it's all about the Baseball Hall of Fame, and this is another guy who deserves to go in, Charlie Hustle. This happens every year. This is, you could, like clockwork, anytime that the Baseball Hall of Fame starts to do their thing, Pete Rose starts to trend. Pete Rose is trending today. again, Pete Rose. Do people know what Pete Rose did? This is in 1989. It may have been. No, you know what? Because look, full disclosure, I hate Pete Rose. Pete Rose is another dick. Pete Rose is a total jerk. But Pete Rose is the greatest hitter in baseball history. Pete Rose's hit record is never going to be broken. I mean, it's not, nobody's even close. There are no active players there. Although, now we do live in an era where players are playing longer because of the way they're treating their bodies and their off-season regimens. So maybe. But Pete Rose was, I'm just old enough to remember the tail end of Pete Rose. In my earliest days of being a young baseball fan, I remember the Big Red Machine. I remember how great Pete Rose was. I remember Pete Rose's hitting streak back in the early 80s. That was just ridiculous. I mean, if you were a baseball or a sports fan, it didn't even matter. You didn't have to be in Philadelphia or Cincinnati. It was all about, it led every local newscast. Pete Rose, his hit streak. Pete Rose got another hit. Pete Rose got another hit. Pete Rose got another hit. Pete Rose was banned for life from baseball in 1989. I mean, not just, he was a manager at the time, not just suspended for a year, I mean, Greg Williams, defensive coordinator of the Saints a couple of years ago, and Sean Payton, they got suspended for a year for giving money to players on their team who injured other teams. So at bounties, remember bounty, the whole bounty thing, they only got suspended for like a year. And now that seems to, Pete Rose in 1989 was suspended for betting on baseball. Well, Pugs, the betting and gambling is a big problem with sports. You can't have the manager of a team, taking odds against his team and betting that his team is going to lose. And then, he makes all the decisions on the field. He could have an unfair advantage. He could affect the outcome of the game. He could basically, but he never did that. Pete Rose was never accused of betting against his team. Pete Rose is such an insane, and he's an insane gambler. He spent all day at the track. That's what he was about. Pete Rose has never, ever been accused of throwing a game or even betting against his team. What Pete Rose got caught doing is betting large sums of money on his team. I mean, can we just look at this? Yes. Okay. So back in that era, we weren't allowed to bet on baseball, and that's fine. But also consider this. We are now in an era where gambling apps DraftKings are all over Major League Baseball, right? And Pete Rose, because he bet on his team to dominate, is somehow considered a bad guy because you're afraid that could. Yes, it's a bad example. And a guy like Pete Rose, who's so high profile, especially back in 1989, you don't want him doing that. But a lifetime ban for baseball's greatest hitter, I don't give a shit if he's an asshole. I don't give a shit if he hung out at the track. I don't give a shit if he's got 10 ex-wives. It doesn't matter. Pete Rose is the greatest hitter in baseball. And the way he played on the field should be something that every player that ever laces up the spikes and steps onto a diamond tries to emulate. That dude played balls out every single time he stepped on the field. Pete Rose was amazing. And he's 80 years old now. He's an 80-year-old man. He's going to die. The greatest hitter in baseball is going to die. And still being, it would be so easy just to say, okay, Pete, we're going to lift the lifetime ban. Because you know what? DraftKings has given us so much money. It's a little bit hypocritical at this point now, like 30 years later, for us to still, hold this whole deal here. Sorry, I'm distracted by. Okay, never mind. It's not anything I need to talk about. So there you go. That's all the Baseball Hall of Fame stuff that we're going to get into today. But it is happening tonight, and I will be watching. I will be watching on MLB tonight in prime time. Let's see what else is trending here today. Paris Hilton is trending. What is it? Is it 2005? What Paris Hilton? What is she doing? Well, Paris Hilton was on the Tonight Show last night. Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and here she did this. I guess I got to show it to you. This is why Paris Hilton is trending. Let's get into it. She looks great, by the way. I think Paris Hilton's beautiful. You can hate her. You can be like, oh, I don't like that. She's like, she represents all the worst things about current popular culture. Whatever. She's a good-looking woman. She's an heiress. Here we go. So this was her. This is why Paris Hilton in 2022 is trending. Here we go. Let's watch this, shall we? She looks great. What is she, like in her early 40s now? 40?
NFT, you have one being released soon. We have it here. What can you tell us about this?
Well, it's an NFT series that I'm doing with Super Plastic and releasing on Origin Protocol. And then I made another piece by hand. It took me 6 months, and it's all a collage of all of my memories with Carter. And
okay, can I just say, this is the piece that took her 6 months to create. It's basically something that hangs in every teen girl's bedroom, right? Doesn't every teen girl have like a collage of all of her pictures? It took Paris Hilton 6 months to do this.
It's called my Forever Fairy Tale.
Wow, and here's the actual collage.
Wow. That's as good 12-year-old.
I think people are going to love it.
Well, if you love it so much, I actually am going to give you the first one.
Oh, wasn't that nice?
And I want to give one to everyone in the audience.
We're excited.
Yes, everyone.
None of us know what an NFT is, but we've got one. We're so excited.
I think that's the first NFT giveaway in television history. We love you.
Iconic.
Paris Hilton.
All right, now,
You have a new
now,
NFT.
Jimmy, spend the next 40 minutes of the show explaining to your audience what they just received. What the fuck is an NFT? I told a story last night on the show about how I pride myself on being able to answer just about every question that my son throws at me. And I told the story about how we were in Whole Foods and he stumped me and I didn't have an answer for him. I wanted to buy some ice cream. So I ran down to the Whole Foods, which is right down the street. It was after a long day of football. And I was like, man, all right, I want some ice cream. I've been good on my diet. I'm like, I want some ice cream. I'm going to treat myself. This is going to be my cheat day. So I went down just looking for a little pint of ice cream, like a little $3 pint of ice cream. Well, those don't exist. The $3 pint of ice cream that you get at Kroger is like a $7 pint of organic, locally sourced ice cream at Whole Foods. So that was a bit disappointing. And he said, "Can I get something?" And I'm like, "Well, sure. If I'm getting ice cream and you don't want ice cream, then yeah, you can get something." He goes, "I just want to get a drink." So he was looking for like a Mountain Dew. That's like a big special drink for him because my kid, he doesn't drink soda at all. He drinks kinds of sparkling waters and, fruit juices. And honestly, he drinks Gatorade. That's like his favorite thing. But he was like, "Yeah, I think I want a Mountain Dew." As his dad, about 7:00 on Saturday night, I was like, "Oh, I don't know if you should have a Mountain Dew at 7:00 at night," but okay, whatever. So we go to the Whole Foods and they ain't got Mountain Dew. They ain't got any brand that anybody has ever heard of before at the Whole Foods. It's all this weird stuff. So we're standing in front of this big wall of drinks and he's trying to figure out what kind of drink does he want. And he says to me, he goes, "Dad, what is kombucha?" Now, again, I pride myself on being able to explain all of these kinds of questions that he has about the world. I had no idea what kombucha was. And I go to pull up my phone and he goes, "No." He goes, "Don't look it up. You're supposed to know that." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know what kombucha is. It looks terrible. I don't know what it is. It's cloudy. I don't know what the hell is going on." Well, it turns out it's fermented tea flavored with different things, but I didn't know what that was. So I failed on that one. However, a day earlier, he asked me what NFTs were. And I, like I said, sometimes I don't know what the answer is, but I can fake my way through it. And here's all I knew about NFTs. I knew that it stood for non-fungible token. I knew that. I go, well, an NFT is a non-fungible token. It's a new way of having money. And I just went on and on and on about stupid stuff. And then he lost interest and I stopped talking. And I'm like, okay, all right, very good. I passed the NFT test. Had no idea 24 hours later that I'd be dealing with a definition of kombucha, but that's another thing. So Paris Hilton last night, she gave everybody in the audience an NFT. which appears to be just a collage of pictures from her life, like the kind your 14-year-old daughter might have in her bedroom somewhere. So what is an NFT? So here you go. So I'm explaining to you, I pulled this up. This is what an NFT is, right? An NFT, which stands for, now I knew this much, non-fungible token. Are you ready? Buckle up, people, because you're going to have questions. An NFT, which stands for non-fungible token, is a unique unit of data employing technology that allows digital content, from videos to songs to images, to become logged and authenticated on cryptocurrency blockchains, primarily Ethereum. Once content is logged onto the blockchain, every transaction from transfers to sales is recorded on-chain, creating an easily accessible ledger of provenance and price history. The main impact of NFTs is making it easy to own and sell digital content. Previously, for example, digital artists could build up large followings on social media, attract freelance commercial work, and maybe sell prints and other merch with their designs. But they had trouble monetizing digital art directly, as consumers asked, why should I buy it when I can screenshot it for free? There you go. Now we all know what NFTs are. There you go. That's what everyone in the audience last night got from Paris Hilton. I've read this 10 times. I have no idea what Moving on. That's why Paris Hilton. Did you ever think that Paris Hilton would know like stuff that would totally confuse 90% of the public? I didn't. I mean, unless it was about party drugs, I figured I knew more than Paris Hilton on just about everything. But party drugs and inheritance laws. I figured she had that. She probably knew all of that stuff. Everything else, I felt, I could pretty much dominate her. Not here. She doesn't know. She doesn't. Do you think Paris Hilton understands what this NFT thing is that she's involved? I don't think so. I think she just made a collage. They said, Paris, just take all of your pictures from, your phones from the last couple of years and just make a nice little collage. Oh, that's what an NFT is. An NFT. Paris, what is an NFT? It's when you take pictures from your life and you put them on. No, that's a collage, Paris. That is not what an NFT is. Oh, well, I was told. I'm sure you were told. And now to make things even more confusing, Dogecoin. Dogecoin is trending. Dogecoin is trending because Elon Musk wants McDonald's to start accepting Dogecoin for payment. The Tesla CEO has repeatedly touted the cryptocurrency, saying that his company would accept it for payment for some merchandise. Okay, so he's all on it. He's all on board with whatever Dogecoin is. It's like Bitcoin, but it's not spelt the same. I don't know. I'm trying. Let me see where Bitcoin is at right now. My Bitcoin was tanking. It was going. I don't even know what it is, but I got it. It's whatever. Figured why not try? Let's see where it's at. Here we are. Let's pull it up. And Bitcoin is currently okay. It's up 2.94. But it was down like 10%. It was down crazy. All right, it's up now. It's going up. It's going down. It's going up, going down. I have no idea what it all means. So Elon Musk wants McDonald's to start accepting payment for Dogecoin. And he says, well, it's totally fine. It's not sketchy at all. I mean, even I allow you to use Dogecoin for Tesla. Really, Elon? I could buy a car? No, we're not going to take it for a car. But what do you mean, some merchandise? Well, we've got some very nice air fresheners, Tesla air fresheners that you can use Dogecoin for. Maybe some trunk mats. If you want a trunk mat labeled with Tesla, we'll accept Dogecoin for that. So I just thought it was funny that he won't accept it for his own company. Like if you wanted to buy a Tesla with Dogecoin, he ain't doing that. But he wants McDonald's to change their entire way that they do payments. All right. Minnesota weed. Minnesota weed is trending. Why? This is odd for me. This is it's trending because there's a big group of, I gotta imagine, old people. Big group of old people and the Catholic Church in Minnesota. They've created a political action committee and a lobbying group in order to make sure that weed is never legalized. Recreational weed is never legalized in Minnesota, which is, I thought Minnesota was sort of a crazy outlier. We'll do anything state. I mean, they made a professional wrestler governor and a Saturday Night Live comedian senator. So I don't really think of them as being all of that. Whatever, though. Minnesota groups unite to oppose recreational marijuana. Apparently, it's moving through the Minnesota State House, but not moving towards legal. It even says in the thing that it's not moving towards legalization because although it's passing in the lower chamber, the upper chamber of the Senate is controlled by Republicans who are vowed to crush it when it gets to the Senate, which is a bad group. That's a bad. I've been saying this for a long time. This is a political issue that the Republicans should really get on, and many have. There are many, especially high-profile national Republicans, who have embraced the concept of legalization because they're the smart ones. They're the ones that recognize that of all the issues that face America, the one that unites the most is legalization. I mean, there are far-right Nazis who want legalization. There are far left Antifa who want legalization, and everybody in the middle. I mean, everybody in the middle. Even if you are a dyed-in-the-wool conservative who, is in their 70s now, you came through the 60s. You've been around weed. You know that it's not this demon product that was, put out there in the 80s by Nancy Reagan and all that. It's ridiculous. It is a unifying issue. I think that it's how Beto O'Rourke is going to be governor of Texas. In Texas, no, I'm telling you, man, I have never been in a state where more people smoke weed than in Texas. Maybe it's the proximity to Mexico, that it's more cultural because it's been here, because it's easy, because it used to be grown and, they could bring it across and all that. I mean, that's not the case anymore because now all the good weed, any weed that you want to smoke is grown in a house in a suburb on your block, and you have no idea what's going on in that house. But it is. And I really do think that, the thing that is going to get people who maybe wouldn't normally vote to come out and vote for someone like Beto, who I have a lot of questions about. But they'll come out and they'll vote for this. People will turn out. People will register to vote for this guy, even if they don't like him, simply because they're tired of feeling like criminals. They're tired of, having that panic thing when they go and buy their bag of weed from their dealer and then they see a cop pull up behind them and suddenly the cold sweats pour in and their heart starts beating because you're like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. I'm not a criminal. I just have anxiety. And I'm telling you, I don't like to drink scotch at night and I would rather take a couple of puffs of this. So there you go. It is a unifying issue. In Minnesota, it seems to me that they're the right hasn't the conservative. I shouldn't call it necessarily the right, although these groups like the Catholic Church and stuff, they're definitely on the right. What is the Catholic Church's problem with it? What that's what I don't understand. Why would Catholic groups? Is it just because Catholics, and I can say this as a lapsed Catholic, someone who was raised Catholic, is it just because Catholics like to say no? They like to tell you can't do things. Their whole mojo, their whole vibe is going, you are bad, apologize for that. And I'm telling you this because I have some moral superiority over you because I'm a better Catholic and I'm telling you it's bad. I don't get it. I don't understand how a person who wants to smoke weed is somehow... I don't get it. I don't get it. But I also have some very controversial takes, modern takes on all drugs. I think that I agree with the crazy libertarians that all drugs should be legal. It should be a matter of personal responsibility. If you become a drug addict, that's on you. We don't make alcohol illegal because some people become terrible, out of control alcoholics. I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, nothing has done more to destroy the American family unit over the past 100 years or so than chronic alcoholism. Everybody's got a dad that gets drunk, beats up his wife. Some of these sickos molest kids. You know what I mean? I mean, alcoholism is a big problem. There are a lot of kids that grow up in families with raging alcoholics. Do you know what the difference would be if you grew up in a family with a pothead as opposed to a raging alcoholic? You know how much better that would be for the family? The pothead does not react the way the raging alcoholic does. It's a much more chill kind of a thing. Now, the kids would probably be disciplined less because stoner dad would be like, hey, man, chill out. Come on, relax. As opposed to, what I tell you, get over here. You know, that's the difference between the two drugs. But one is totally acceptable and the other isn't. So Minnesota, screw you. You're behind the times on this one. Menstruation. Oh, God, Pugs is going to talk about menstruation. Menstruation is trending today. Why is menstruation trending? Well, because a study has shown. Here we go. Old right-wing Pugs, old anti-vaxxer Pugs. No, I'm not. Man, I'm just giving you as it comes. I'm just giving you the stories as they post. Full disclosure, of course I'm vaccinated. I was rooting for a vaccine. I was like, yeah, let's get a vaccine. Let's go. I didn't care that it was Trump's vaccine. I'm like, good. Let's move this through. Operation Warp Speed or whatever the hell it was called. You know, that got all of these barricades that typically we put in place of vaccines. Got them all knocked out of the way, and we created this vaccine, and I got the shot. Then I got the second shot. Then I got the booster shot. And then I got really sick off the booster. I mean, the first shot, I felt a little crappy, went to work. Second shot, felt a little crappy, still went to work. The booster kicked my ass. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done, please. I say this now. I'm just a couple of weeks removed from being sick from the booster. God, that was awful. You know what's interesting? I was talking to somebody, a family that I'm friendly with. They're going through a whole COVID bout. Everybody in their family's got COVID. And I was saying, you know, this is so weird. I got a little touch of hypochondria, meaning, you know, I have my allergies and my sinus infections and all that stuff, and that's regular. That normally happens. But, you know, I'm always like, oh God, am I getting the flu? Oh, is that hurt when I swallow? Or is that normal? No, it feels a little bit like a twinge. So I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. I've never been healthier than I've been these past 2 years. I haven't. I've never been healthier. It has nothing to do with wearing masks or anything like that. I think it might have something to do with, you know, I do a lot less. You know, I'm not going out as much. I'm not exposing myself to other people that might give me colds or might give me flus or whatever it is. But my hypochondria seems to have been cured by the specter of looming coronavirus because I'm so worried about getting coronavirus, or was so worried. I don't care anymore. Of course I care. I don't mean to belittle anybody that's going through a terrible experience. They've lost loved ones. I mean, I acknowledge all that. It's terrible. But man, the last couple of years, yeah, I haven't had a flu. You know, I used to get fevers all the time. I haven't had a fever, not since I got the booster. And that was it. And it reminded me of how much I hate being sick, how much fevers suck, how much chills suck, how much body aches and a lingering headache suck. All right, so why? Can you tell that I'm avoiding talking about menstruation? Because I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about menstruation. I really don't, and I shouldn't. It's another reason, like I said yesterday, I'm so glad that I have a boy. Because, you know, morning wood, I can explain. I can explain what that is. I can explain all that stuff to him. Not a problem. Menstruation? Boy, if I had a daughter, I don't even... Are y'all going to laugh at me? But I've never investigated. I don't care. I've been married. I've been with women in long-term relationships. I've lived with women in my life. I don't know what tampons are. I don't know what they are. I know, I get what they're used. Do they go inside? Some of them are like long and tubular. And then what are pads? What are pads different than tampons? And what are wings? I hear like pads being everything with wings. I have no idea what any of that stuff is. And apparently there's a string on the, I don't know. I'm a guy. I don't need to know. It's not something that I have to fill up my brain with. That's not. However, menstruation is trending. Why? Because a new National Institute of Health study shows that COVID shots have affected menstrual cycles. Women around the globe have reported changes in their menstrual cycles following COVID-19 shots. Changes include heavier and more painful periods. That ain't good. And changing in menses lengths, as well as unexpected breakthrough bleeding or spotting among women on long-acting contraception or those who are postmenopausal and haven't had a period in years or even decades. So there's good news, Grandma. Your period's back. Health officials have tried to brush off reports, but a study published in Obstetrics and Gynecology, and if you don't have your subscription to Obstetrics and Gynecology, I mean, what are you even doing? And funded by the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development and the National Institute of Health Office of Research on Women's Health, this study confirms an association between menstrual cycle length and COVID-19 shots. Clinical trials for COVID-19 shots did not collect data about menstrual cycles following injection. Further, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, VAERS, does not actively collect menstrual cycle information. Nonetheless, by May of 2021, a noticeable number of people had reported menstrual-related issues following COVID-19, and there's a lot more to read there, but I think you get the gist. If you need to know more, investigate on your own time, because I just don't know enough, and I don't like talking about that. Let's see here. Oh, God. We talked about this yesterday, but she's trending again. This poor, sad girl. This poor, sad. I'm talking about Julia Fox. Julia Fox is trending. Julia Fox is Kanye's latest arm candy. She's an actress and a model or something like that. You know, I don't know. I'd never heard of her until suddenly now she's like one of the biggest stars on the planet because, you know, she's like an accessory to Kanye. Kanye, of course, got dumped by Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is now with Pete Davidson. Kanye West is not handling it well. He is writing diss tracks on songs about Pete Davidson. He's going up on stage at concerts and just going into these weird rants about how he wants Kim back. All the while squiring around this Julia Fox, who is telling everybody that will listen. She's giving interviews talking about how wonderful their relationship is and how she's going to be with him for the rest of her life. And she can't believe how great this is. And people don't really understand him. And we're so happy. We're so happy. Why she's trending? Well, she's trending for two reasons. One, and I'll get to that. But the other reason she's trending is because she has now told, what did she tell? Who did she tell? E-Online. She gave an interview to E-Online, and she has given her preferred, you take two celebrities who are dating, like Bennifer, you take their name and you mash them together, that kind of a thing. She is now trying to make Julie Yee a thing. That's what she wants to be called. Julie Yee, which there's a lot of problems with it. One, it's terrible. Julie Yee, Jiliye. Of course, because Kanye is now going by Yee. First problem is it's terrible. First problem is nobody's going to want to call anybody Julie Yee. That's two. It's a da. That's three syllables. Julie Yee. It's well, I guess Bennifer, but Bennifer rolls better. There's more of like a fun. I'm not going to get into it. Julie Yee is terrible. Just from the outset. Doesn't work. Nobody's going to want to do it. Secondly, you can't be first. Julia Fox, you can't be first. You're not anyone we're even going to know who you are in 5 years. Kanye is an icon. He's a music icon. He's a provocative icon of modern popular culture. He is considered in many circles a musical genius. He's not going anywhere. And I can't imagine that he's going to be okay with being the Yee at the end of Julia Yee. So it's so sad. She's doing all this stuff. Well, we're in love and we're dressing alike and all that stuff. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, so this is Kanye. While she's giving an interview there, Kanye is giving this interview. Where is it? Let's see if I can find it. Kanye sat down for an interview and all he would talk about is how he loves Kim Kardashian. So he's got Julie. She's talking about how they're going to be together forever. It's so humiliating for her. Does she not have friends who are like just blowing up her phone going, girl, you need to stop. This man is doing nothing but talking about his ex. He is using you. All right, so let's see if we can hear this. So here's Kanye giving an interview while she's floating Julie Yee as the new name. Here's Kanye giving an interview.
You know what I'm saying? And to be playing games, and then culturally it's okay. How you gonna bring me to SNL and kiss the dude you dating right in front of me.
Okay, so he's talking about when Kim Kardashian hosted like this. Kanye, tell us about the new album. No, first, how you gonna bring me to SNL? Like, he's totally obsessed with getting Kim Kardashian back. Meanwhile, the girl that he's with now is going around telling everybody, we're in love, we're madly in love. He's talking about when Kim Kardashian hosted Saturday Night Live. And one of the sketches that she was, apparently he was there. Apparently they brought him. One of the sketches that Kim Kardashian did was a play on Aladdin, where Pete Davidson played. You know, they were riding a magic carpet, and in this scene, and this is long before Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson were an item, but in the scene, Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian kiss, and Kanye's there in the wings watching this, knowing that there's or maybe he's not. Maybe he's just oblivious to any sort of issues in his life that you know that he doesn't like. Maybe he just has he's crazy, so you know maybe he didn't. But now here he is giving an interview talking about how so she brings me to Saturday Night Live, and
You know what I'm saying? And to be playing games, and then culturally it's okay. You know, how you gonna bring me to SNL and kiss the dude you dating right in front of me? And everybody's like, oh, that's cool. After I went and got the laptop from Ray J myself that night, right? And then got on the radar. I met this man at the airport.
Okay, so now he's talking about, he's just streaming. He's talking about being at Saturday Night Live with Kim Kardashian. She sees Kim kiss Pete, and he didn't like that. But then later that night, he flew to a clandestine meeting with somebody who had the original, you know, the Kim Kardashian sex tape, the Ray J. Okay, so he flew somewhere and he bought the laptop that has, I don't know, I guess whatever it is out there on the hard drive or whatever, the original copy of that. And he went and he bought that for Kim the night that she kissed Pete Davidson. We got to start from the beginning again, just because it's so bonkers.
You know what I'm saying? And to be playing games, and then culturally it's okay. You know, how you gonna bring me to SNL and kiss the dude you dating right in front of me? And everybody's like, oh, that's cool. After I went and got the laptop from Ray J myself that night, right? And then got on the red eye. I met this man at the airport and got on the red eye, came back, delivered it to her at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then I gave it to her, and she cried when she saw it. You know why she cried when she got to see the laptop? Because it represents how much she's been used. It represents how much people didn't love her, and they just saw her as a commodity. People are
okay. All right. So while Julia Fox is trying to make Julie Yee a thing and talking about how they're so much in love, Kanye's in the next room giving an interview where he's just going on and on about all of the great things he did for Kim, and he can't believe that she would have the nerve to kiss the guy she's dating. Come on. I mean, first of all, it's funny. It's funny, but how delusional is this Julia Fox? How delusional is she's gonna be? Will they be together? What's the over under on when he finally dumps her? 2 weeks? Could it be 2 weeks? Do you think it's gonna be longer, or is she just gonna stick around because she's insanely subservient to him? Like, is that the thing? Do you think she ever raises her voice to him? Do you think she ever does anything that isn't completely in Kanye's best interest when they're around? I don't know. It's fun. It's the craziest entertainment story that is happening right now. This relationship between these two, and how one is trying to pretend like everything's fine, we're in love, and the other guy is like, I still love my ex, and I'm doing whatever I can to get my ex. Pipe down, baby. I'm good. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. Obesity is trending. Obesity. And they're saying because a new genetic study in the UK says that obesity is genetic. Now, what they found here, unlucky fat genes to blame for obesity disease risks. Now, I believe that genetics plays some role in where you are, but, you know, I mean, I've seen little kids. I said earlier, my kid doesn't get to drink soda pop. I am very lucky. Because obviously, look at me. I've obviously got whatever the gene it is that makes you a chubby fat guy, and that's in me. But my son's mother is a fitness freak, right? And she's very healthy, and so my son does not get garbage ever. Well, didn't you go out for ice cream at some? But that was a special occasion, and he doesn't live with me full time. I get him, I get him weekend visits and all that kind of stuff. But he's. I said to him, I not recently, but I've said to him in the past. I go, do kids in your school drink soda at all? He's like, oh God, yeah. He's like, and he talks about they slam Mountain Dews left and right and all that stuff. That kind of stuff contributes. I mean, if your kid, if have you ever seen a mom like with soda in a baby bottle? I've seen that. That is like, whoa. You just poured a can of fully loaded Pepsi, not even Pepsi Zero. You just poured a can of fully loaded Pepsi in that baby bottle, and now you're giving, what the hell? That kid is going to be very unhealthy. These are some really bad eating habits that are being laid down. So whereas I would probably agree that a tendency to be heavy and a tendency to store fat, and that's what I read this article. I won't bore you with the details, but the article says that certain people who are obese, not everybody, there are some people who are obese who can lose it, but there are other people who are obese for reasons other than unhealthy choices, and those are because of where fat deposits are in their body, and that's determined by their genetic makeup. Some people have more fat deposits, and that's genetic, and you can be thin and have this genetic disposition or whatever to being heavy. But if you don't watch it, if you're not super careful, you will become a very heavy person. And this is new because it's not really the socially accepted reason for people being heavy. Like there are some people who are heavy and the social judgment on them is, well, look at how fat they must just be eating pizza and fried chicken every night for dinner. And they're finding out here in this study that that's not necessarily true, that there are some people who eat relatively normal who just have a tendency to blow up and become obese because of what their genetic code and what their genetics say. So that's why that's being hotly debated on a couple of platforms, obesity and what it means. Not an excuse. I'm not genetically predisposed to being heavy. I'm the fattest person in my family that I know of. I mean, there's none of the people in my family that I know of are fat. They're tall and they're thin for the most part. And then there's me. And I happen to know that I am this way because I'm lazy. I hate to work out. I sprained my ankle like 3 weeks ago. My ankle has been fine for 2 weeks and I still haven't started running again. I'm like, today, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to start back up today. It's beautiful. It's sunny. I mean, I'm just lazy. So I know that I'm like this. When I work out and when I'm healthy, I can get down to a pretty nice, I will never be thin. I don't want to be thin. I have seen, you ever seen like a guy who's typically thick, and then they lose a lot of weight and it's like, no, you're not nearly as handsome. You were more handsome with the dad bod. You were more handsome than now. You just look sunken and gray. I don't want that. I would like to be a chubby guy. I would like to be, a certain build. Currently, I'm a big fat guy and I'm trying to fix that. But so I take personal responsibility for my own thing. But the study is saying that some people, they don't have that luxury. Some people they have to work twice as hard as you to stay in a relatively fit place. Oh, okay. And since obesity is trending, why not talk about French fries? French fries is trending because a new story in, where is this? A UK magazine has finally determined the origin of the French fry. What do you mean, Pugs? They're called French fries. They're obviously French. Back in 2003, because the French didn't agree with a UN resolution that was in our best interest, we stopped calling French fries, and we called them freedom fries. So obviously it's about, no, That's not, French fries are not called French fries because they're from France. In fact, if they were, you'd think they'd be called France fries, not French fries, but whatever. They're called French fries because it's the way they're Frenched. It's a method of cooking and a method of chopping potatoes, Frenching them. You've heard that expression. So it has nothing to do with where it is. But most people think the French fries are from France, and they're not. It turns out they're from Belgium. The origin of the French fry is actually from Belgium, which is really close to French. I mean, they share a border. So, it's not completely. Who doesn't love a good French fry? The best fried potatoes turn out tender and steamy on the inside, crispy on the outside, not too oily, and plenty of salt, making a pile of them the perfect accompaniment to a juicy burger, a ribeye steak, or a pot of steamed mussels. You know this is a European story. Ain't nobody in America eating a pot of steamed mussels with some French fries. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't like fries. According to the average American eats nearly 30 pounds of French fries per year. 30 pounds of French. The average American eats 30. Think about that. 30 pounds of French fries a year. Oh my God. McDonald's, the world's top seller of fries, slings about 9 million pounds of French fries per day. Holy cow. McDonald's sells 9 million pounds of French fries. Good Lord. That means they make like $50 million a day alone. Because you don't get a pound of French fries when you order some fries at McDonald's. That's like $50 million a day. God, McDonald's got a lot of money. That's just on French fries. Jeez Louise. McDonald's, the world's top seller of fries, slings about 9 million pounds of them per day. In fact, 25% of all potatoes consumed in the world are eaten as French fries. If you've ever munched on a French fry, or if you remember the whole freedom fries there you can see I referenced that. You may have stopped to think about the name, beloved all over the world. Are French fries actually from France? No, here's the origin. If you'd assume that the name French fries indicates that the classic fried potato dish hails from France, you'd be wrong. According to the BBC, the crispy spuds were most likely invented in the country's France's northeast neighbor, Belgium. According to lore, the dish was born in Belgium in the winter of 1680 when the fried fish-loving dendians of a city called Namur had to find something else to cook when the local rivers froze over. While some historians have questioned the authenticity of this tale, Belgium has stood firm in its stance that it created the French fry and successfully petitioned UNESCO to add the dish to Belgium's list of cultural treasures. There you go. Hey, so there, look at that. That's fun. We talked about obesity, and now we're talking about French fries. I giveth and I taketh away. Taketh away. All right. Hey, it's the boycott section of today's show because apparently every day do you have your checklist going of the things you're not supposed to do anymore? And I got boycotts for both of you. That's right. I got boycotts for you crazy asses on the right, and I got boycotts now for you crazy asses on the left. We got two boycotts. First up, let's see what the right wants us to boycott. Walmart. We boycott Walmart is trending. Don't go to Walmart. Walmart. Why are we boycotting Walmart? We're boycotting Walmart because apparently in Quebec, and again, this is just like they're singling out Walmart. Go ahead, single them out. Just whatever. You're not good. This stupid little online boycott of Walmart is not going to tank the company. But go ahead. You can go to another store and pay twice as much. Go ahead. I'm going to continue going to Walmart, you crazy idiots. It's because Quebec City Council passed a rule that says that all big box stores, Walmart, Targets, any of those big places, and yet Walmart's being singled out here. all the big box stores now, if you in Quebec, if you want to walk into one of them, you've got to show proof that you've been vaccinated. And so, the right boycott every Walmart on the planet because the city council in Quebec decided that all big box. You boycotting Walmart? What for? What are you boycotting Walmart for? What are they doing? The Walmart doesn't have a policy in Quebec that says you can't come in unless this is a city council. How about boycott Quebec? But you idiots, you're not traveling anywhere anyway. Your idea of a vacation is what, the Mississippi coast? That's where you go. That's the furthest you ever venture. Ain't nobody going to Quebec, but that would be the boycott. You're blaming it's not Walmart's fault. It's the city council in Quebec. But whatever, have at it. This one will not take, because in many cities in this country, in many towns in this country, in many counties in this country, there are no other places to get overalls, tractor fuel, and a loaf of bread but Walmart. So go ahead. You want to go. Sam Drucker is no longer operating the general store. Okay, it's all Walmart. So good luck to you, fine sir. All right, now the left. Now the idiots on the left. Here's what they want us to boycott. Boycott Pepsi. Pepsi. We're boycotting Pepsi. Why? Why are we boycotting Pepsi? Why is this hashtag trending? By the way, we need to stop with the whole cancel culture is one side or the other. It's not. It is really not. I made a list, or actually I Googled before the segment. I was like, okay, what are some of the things that we've had to boycott over the past couple of years? And why? Why have we? And I'm looking through this list, and I'm not even going to bore you with it because it went on forever. But everything from Colin Kaepernick to the NFL to all kinds of things. It ain't just people on the right. It's this projection thing that I will say is most common among people on the right. Projection, where you accuse your opponent of doing something that you're doing, that you are doing. So that's a bigger player on the right. But the left is they've done their cancel culture stuff as well. But like, I'll give you an example. Okay. Nah, never mind. Because look, I don't want. This show isn't supposed to be divisive. This show is supposed to be we're all idiots. Okay, stop being idiots. Every single one of us, whether you're right, left, whether you watch MSNBC, whether you watch Fox News, you're all freaking idiots, and you're ruining everything for the rest of us idiots who just want to be idiots in peace. So we're boycotting Pepsi. The left is. The hashtag boycott Pepsi went viral following a report that revealed how the company gave the Texas GOP $15,000 after the abortion bill was signed into law. So now we can't drink Pepsi and we can't buy Coke at Walmart because we can't go to Walmart. So boycott Walmart is trending, and boycott Pepsi. There's a little something for both of you. Let's see what we have here. Travis Pastrana. Travis Pastrana is trending. Do you know Travis Pastrana? Travis Pastrana was he was a skateboarder. He was like back in the early days of the whole skateboarding thing with the Tony Hawks and stuff like that. And then he was a BMX rider, and he's like an action sports guy. He's an 11-time X Game medalist. Well, he's trending because he's in the hospital. He's having surgery. He jacked himself up really bad. Well, I'll show you why. Here's what Travis Pastrana did and why he had emergency pelvis surgery to repair. He got internal bleeding. He's got a pelvis thing happening. It's it ain't good. Old pastrami. He's got a web series that he does where he just does stupid shit and people tune in to like, hey, he's gonna die here, but he never dies because what would be the point of doing it? It's just shit that you think you're gonna get hurt. And well, he got hurt. he got hurt on this one. This one was a big old oops. All right, here, let's see if we can get it back. He tried to what do they call it? Base jumping. Is it big now? Yeah, there it is. So he base jumped off of a hotel in Miami, and a couple things happened. there wasn't an accurate calculation for the wind. So the wind kind of took him to a place where he didn't want to go. And then they say because he was trying to steer out of the wind, he didn't brake. I don't know how this happens, but he didn't brake or he didn't pull a second chute soon enough. And so now he's all jacked up. And we've got video. Here it is. Here's Travis Pastrana shattering his pelvis. Got the good Yokohama advertisement in there. Oh, man. Heading for the trees. Oh, here he is on the ground. And, oh, God. Did you see how hard he hit the ground? Watch again. He just slammed into the ground. Thud. Oh, my God. One more time in case you blink. What is that, like a drone up there? Is it like a little airplane? Yeah, probably. It's probably a drone. Okay, and he's through the trees, look at the bottom of the trees, and thud. Good Lord. One more time. Yeah. There he comes, and all right, so here he is. He's about to thud. Boom. Oh, God. Oh. He survived. This, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. Anybody who does that, look, do I sound like a dad of a 12-year-old? He's an idiot. See, that's what happens. I don't have room to talk, though, because, when I was like 8 years old, my favorite human on the face of the earth was Evel Knievel, and his whole bit was that he just wrecked all the time. All the time. Evel Knievel was another idiot, but somehow I thought he was cool, and, we used to do stupid stuff, too. Luckily, I survived all the really dumb shit. We were big into BMX. Oh, man, and when I think of, like, the BMX stunts that we used to do, what did we not think that bones break? Did we not think that we used to do this thing where we'd make a ramp? And I'm sure you did it, too. This is not something that we invented. But we would make a ramp, a bike ramp, and then someone would lay down under the ramp, right? And then someone would come down, and someone would come down a hill, and they're like, someone's laying right here. So they'd come down the hill, they'd hit the ramp, and boom, and they'd jump over the person, right? And then when you did one, you'd go, let's do one more. So now you got like two people there, right? And you come down the hill, and then you land. And then, let's try three. And then you get it to three. And it would go on and on and on until eventually somebody would get a bike tire on their leg or something. I mean, it's so stupid. God. Do kids still do that kind of shit? I mean, I know Travis Pastrana is out there doing. Do kids still do those kinds of crazy, or do we have too much of like a helicopter society where we're always watching over our kids? Oh, I wonder if there's a thing like a mom drone. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? What if I specifically designed a drone and then marketed it to moms, and the drone? Okay, is there a way to do this, or am I just inventing Star Trek technology? What if the drone could go up and find your kid because your kid has a phone and the drone is trying to find wherever the phone is? Then when it gets oh my God, $1 million idea. All right, somebody smart, contact me and tell me if I'm just making shit up or if that's possible. Because I'm telling you, every mom on the planet would have a mom drone. She would just like, I don't know where Bobby is. He's not returning my text. Let loose the mom drones. And then the drone would come and it would fly off. And then the drone would be in the air. And it would just be looking for the kid's phone because there's like some kind of magic Star Wars kind of connective something there. And then it finds the kid. And then it hovers over the kid, and then you can see it on the camera, and you can see when the kid is doing stupid shit. And then there'd be a speaker, and mom could get on this. What are you doing, you idiot? Get home now. Oh. I don't know why one of you rich guys don't just give me like $100 million and go, hey, Pugs, you're a genius. Go for it. Godspeed to Travis Pastrana, who's having some yucko surgery today. Yes, Ross Rubio, it would become the wife-girlfriend drone, but I am marketing it as the mom drone because I'm an old man, and those are my concerns now. Oh, what else is trending here? Kate Mckinnon is trending today. Kate Mckinnon, of Saturday Night Live. She's trending because what's her name? Ava Braun, the mean girl. She's like 70, but still looks like she's 30. What is her name? The girl who's on Fox News, who's just always in a bad mood and just seems like would be the worst girlfriend you could ever have. What is her name? Come on, one of you guys got to know. I don't watch Fox News. I just know that she's like awful to look at, but yet also in like a weird, I only date women who are bad for me, also kind of attractive. Like there's something. Laura Ingraham. That's it. Laura Ingraham. Okay. So Kate McKinnon on Saturday Night Live. She opened up the show doing a Fox News parody where she played Laura Ingraham. Is it Ingraham or Ingram? No, it's Ingraham. It's Ingraham Angle. Or is it Laura Ingalls? No, that's Little House on the Prairie. Whatever. Okay, so Saturday Night Live did a Fox News sketch to open it up where Kate McKinnon played this lady I'm talking about, Laura something. And she did an imitation of her. So this Fox News lady did on her show last night. She showed the clip, and she was she then did an imitation of the imitation of her, and I don't know. I only saw the clip, and it was fine. Whatever. I'm not gonna. What is it? It's Laura Ingraham, right? And the show is called The Ingraham Angle. That's some difficult alliteration there. Ingraham Angle. Yeah, okay. So Kate McKinnon is now trending because people are talking about Kate McKinnon and her imitation of Laura Ingraham. So I guess this is time for me to give you my highly unpopular Kate McKinnon take. Kate McKinnon is at the stage of her Saturday Night Live career now. Wherever she comes on stage, I go, oh, God, it's going to be more of this. All right, they let the theater kids loose. This is... Kate McKinnon is... she's fine. She was terrific. She was very interesting early in her run on Saturday Night Live. She's talented, and I'm going to take that. She's funny. I mean, she's a talented, funny, and an interesting performer on Saturday Night Live. But I believe that it is her influence. She's like one of the biggest stars right now, and so she's like very important on that show. Well, Pete Davidson, for another reason, don't get me started on Pete Davidson. I don't get that, but whatever. So Kate McKinnon, she wields the big stick around there. Kate McKinnon does whatever Kate McKinnon wants to do because she's been there a long time and she's important. And she does movies and whatever. But when I watched Saturday Night Live, and I watched Saturday Night Live this week with my 12-year-old son, and we were just like, it was so much fun. All we did was make fun of it. Like, how that's not funny. I don't even understand that. I'm like, I don't understand it either. It's not funny. And remember, my great party trick is that I have seen every single episode of Saturday Night Live that has ever been produced. I have seen every single episode. I don't remember every single episode, but I've seen every single episode. For instance, if I'm scrolling around YouTube and I see something that looks interesting, because that's actually the best way to watch Saturday Night Live. Just find the performers that you really like, who you think are funny, and then just watch them on YouTube doing old Saturday Night Live bits, and those are funny. So I'll put something on and I'll be like, I don't remember this. And then halfway through it, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I do. I kind of remember this. The problem with Saturday Night Live right now is that it was always this, not always, I guess that's wrong. That's unfair to classify it this way. But for the first 10 years of that show, it was insurgent. It was edgy comedy. It was stuff that you, as a kid, all my friends are like, your mom lets you watch Saturday Night Live? I'm like, I don't know if let is the word, but I have access to it and I do watch it. So, it is it is just so dorky now. It is just, and I'm not one of these guys that is like, Saturday Night Live used to be good. Well, it used to be good, and it still is good. I would say that this is the way Saturday Night Live has always been. Whenever people talk about the great years of Saturday Night Live, the greatest, whatever you determine to be the greatest year of Saturday Night Live, whether it was the year with Farley and Sandler and Rock and all that. Well, Chris Rock was great on Saturday Night Live. I always laugh at that. I'm like, no, he wasn't. He left because they never used him. Chris Rock just happens to have been on Saturday Night Live, but you don't remember anything that Chris Rock ever did on Saturday Night Live except for his Nate X character. That's it. That is the only thing that you can remember. So stop pretending like the era that had Chris Farley and Adam Sandler and, Dana Carvey or whoever, but David Spade. Stop acting like that was the best year because Chris Rock wasn't really utilized on Saturday Night Live. Chris Rock was a nobody until he did Bring the Pain, his HBO stand-up comedy special in the late 90s. Then people started to recognize Chris Rock. But don't start, don't now out of convenience pretend like he was some great performer on SNL, because he wasn't. He was not used properly. So whatever era of Saturday Night Live that you hold as the best, you just take any random episode from that time frame, and I am telling you, if they did 10 sketches, one would be good. That's always been the case with Saturday Night Live. That's stupid. Oh my God, is that stupid? Oh my God, is that... Okay, that's funny. We'll talk about that on Monday. That is stupid. That is so stupid. Saturday Night Live has never had an episode where every single sketch was like, God, they're the greatest. Other than possibly in the first season or the second season, because again, it was super edgy, it was super provocative, it was insurgent, it was something, it was interesting, it was different. But not since then has there been. Saturday Night Live has a couple of sketches every episode that are like, okay, that's funny. And then it's got a whole bunch of stuff that you go, God, that was stupid. How did they even allow that? That was so dumb. And it has been that way forever. However, Lorne Michaels is just... He didn't know what he's doing. He's not relevant anymore. I'm sorry. He's just not. He's a kingmaker. He's not interesting anymore. He's just like an old man with his glass of wine watching these young kids do stuff that he doesn't understand. He knows that Pete Davidson is getting a lot of publicity, so let's put Pete Davidson on everything. I get it. Whatever. That's fine. You do what you think is right. But on the other side of that, the current state of Saturday Night Live, it is, I call it the theater kids show. And that's because of Kate McKinnon. It's like Kate McKinnon, remember in high school? Well, and I was involved in the stage crew and all of that. Like I liked that. And now as an adult, I wish I had been more active in like school theater and plays and writing and all that kind of stuff, because, I think that stuff's kind of fun. That seems interesting. But back then, it was like, those guys are nerds. Those guys are, God, they're so weird. Those theater kids are so strange. They were like outcasts. And it's not just in my high school. In every high school, the theater kids were weirdos. They were, they were a little bit too free with themselves. And that's basically what Kate McKinnon was. That's basically who she is. And now she's like super powerful, and she's running Saturday Night Live, and they're constantly creating skits that showcase her, and her talents are theater stuff. So there's a lot of like musical parodies where they sing and it's just like, oh God, there are so many more interesting examples of sketch comedy, modern sketch comedy, that is out there. You can find them on Netflix, you can find them on Hulu, whatever it is. Who's the guy that does I Think You Should Leave? It's the you know what, now I gotta tell you this guy, because this guy, I can't remember his name. I Think You Should Leave. Tim Robinson, that's it. I'm sorry, I remembered it before it actually came up. Tim Robinson was a guy who was on Saturday Night Live, and he pitched all of these ideas for sketches and for things that were funny. And, the Kate McKinnon crew, they were all like, well, I don't want to do that. I'd rather do a parody of The Sound of Music. It was like that kind of stuff. So Tim Robinson, after 1 year, actually, I think it was 2 years. I think he went from being a performer in his first year who couldn't get any stage time to then in his second year being a writer who they wouldn't do any of his sketches. And he said, you know what? I'm out of here. And he took all of the sketches that got rejected on Saturday Night Live and he went over to Netflix and he says, I have an idea for a sketch comedy show. It's called I Think You Should Leave. I Think You Should Leave, Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave is one of the funniest sketch comedy shows that is out there. And it wasn't good enough for Saturday Night Live because the theater kids didn't like his insurgent, provocative nature of comedy. Same thing goes for Amy Schumer. Remember Amy Schumer? Amy Schumer tried to get on Saturday Night Live and they were like, no, that's too edgy. So Amy Schumer goes over to Comedy Central and does the Amy Schumer show, and it's tremendous. Dave Chappelle also has that story about how he was trying to get his stuff on Saturday Night Live. He was trying to be on Saturday. And they're like, no, we're afraid of you. He creates the Chappelle show. This is not just recent for Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels has been missing the point of where comedy has gone for 20 years. And he's still there and he's like, I love it when Kate McKinnon sings and dances. All right, there you go. That's my hot take on Saturday Night Live. And it's just such a dead format. It just seems like such a I'll give you an example of somebody who's great, somebody who's new, who's on the show. They've got a new cast member. Actually, they've got two. They've got James Johnson, the guy who does like Biden and he does Trump and he does a number of other things. He's brilliant. This guy is so brilliant. This guy has been brilliant on viral videos for years. And now he's on Saturday Night Live. And at least they seem to be using him because his imitations are so good. But he is so much more. I heard somebody describe him as the perfect mix of Phil Hartman and Daryl Hammond. Which, oh my God, could you imagine being able to combine the versatility of Phil Hartman with the dead-on impressions of Daryl Hammond? Well, that's this James Austin Johnson. He's terrific. But the one you need to be looking out for is Sarah Sherman. Sarah Sherman, I've been hearing about Sarah Sherman for a long time. Sarah Sherman is her real name. But she was known, she's a girl from Long Island who went to Northwestern University in Chicago. And then after that, she went through the second cities and, the launching pads for Saturday Night Live and all that are the improv and sketch comedy stages of Chicago. But she was known in Chicago as Sarah Squirm. Her name was Sarah Squirm. And she did these gross out, disgusting like body horror stand-up sketches that were they'd make you squirm. They were so disgusting. And now she's on Saturday Night Live as Sarah Sherman, her real name. But I am telling you, man, she has got something. She is funny. And I have no idea how Lorne Michaels is allowing that, or no idea how Kate McKinnon is allowing that. So maybe there is some hope. All right, that's all I got. We're 10 minutes early. You know what we're going to do? We're going to see if there's anything new trending. That's all I had today as far as the stuff that's trending. Of course, Ukraine is still trending and all of that stuff, but we're not at war yet, so there's really no reason for us to fill time talking about that. There's some really terrible things. Houston has seen a deadly 24 hours of police being attacked. That is not good. We don't want that. Sean Payton. Whoa, folks. Here we go. Good Lord. Sean Payton is now trending number one. Sean Payton, according to Ian Rappaport from Ian Rappaport's one of the top NFL reporters. Breaking. Ian Rappaport is reporting sources Sean Payton has informed the New Orleans Saints that he is stepping away. Holy cow. Look at that. All these teams looking for a head coach and Sean Payton is stepping away. But here's what I think. I think that he's probably going to take a year off the way a lot of these guys do, kind of recharge his battery. Doug Peterson did that. He walked away from, or was fired, I guess, because of the whole Carson Wentz debacle. But he won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then like a year and a half later, he's out, and he's just kind of wandering around. Doug Peterson is now being rumored for a lot of these top coaching jobs because he wants to get back in now. Sean Payton's probably going to go do TV for a year, something like that. But what does this do for the Cowboys in the Mike McCarthy situation? Does Mike McCarthy now get one? If thinking that Sean Payton will take the next year off, do the Cowboys give Mike McCarthy one more year? And then they spend the whole year whining and dining Sean Payton? Because remember, Sean Payton only became this legendary coach with the New Orleans Saints because Jerry Jones wouldn't give him the head coaching job. Sean Payton was the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, and he walked from the Cowboys because he didn't see a path to being the OC. Also, Sean Payton, born and raised in Naperville, Illinois, still has a home there. His family lives there. He grew up a Chicago Bears fan, and he played for the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are looking for a head coach. Sean Payton is walking away. Is that somewhere where he could end up? Probably not, because if he takes a year off, then he's not gonna, I don't think we'd fire a new coach after a year. So there you go. Look at that. Oh, speaking of trending number 2 right now on Twitter, Ryan Poles. The Chicago Tribune is reporting the Bears are finalizing a deal to make Ryan Poles, who is the Chiefs' executive director of player personnel, the new general manager. This is according to multiple reports. It's trending nationally, so that's why I'm mentioning it. But I've been following this story all morning. George McCaskey, the president of the Bears, the owner, Virginia. Our team is owned by like a 99-year-old woman. Her son, George, is the guy that runs the team. There's a big stories, around Chicago Twitter, because George McCaskey actually went to the airport this morning and picked up Ryan Poles, and there are pictures of it. And they're like, this means that Ryan Poles is probably getting a job offer when the president shows up personally to pick you up. He didn't do that for any of the other GM candidates. So that's good. Okay. Ryan Poles. That's good. We like him. Neil Young is still trending. Percy Jackson is still trending. The Hall of Fame is still trending. Here's a new one. The Rock is now trending. Why is The Rock trending? People make guesses after actor Dwayne Johnson tells Men's Journal that he is taking part in an upcoming film based on a video game that he has played for years. Dwayne Johnson says that he is doing another video game movie. We're going to bring one of the biggest, most badass games to the screen. One that I've played for years. I don't know. I don't play video games, so I don't even have a guess. I know that the video game character that my 12-year-old son thinks is the most badass is someone called Master Chief. I don't know who Master Chief is. I don't know what game that is, but my son loves Master Chief and he loves The Rock. So Dwayne Johnson, sorry. So I don't know. For my household, that would be a big announcement. Pokemon is trending. I don't care. James Harden is trending. NBA fans continue to speculate about the Nets star James Harden's future with the team. Wilbert Mora. I don't know who Wilbert Mora. Okay, never mind. Wilbert Mora. This is sad news. Wilbert Mora. I know who he is now, and we should all keep a good thought for him. Wilbert Mora, a New York police officer who was gravely wounded in a Harlem shooting that took his partner's life last week, has now also died of his injuries. Vikings look like they've got their new GM. They're taking Browns executive Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. Some viewers are urging Bravo to take action against some Real Housewives stuff. Anybody? Any of you guys into the Real Housewives stuff? I don't care. Jim Banks is trending. He's a he's a Republican congressman from Indiana who is trending because people are just like, what? Remember earlier I said how look, assholes on the left, real bunch of assholes, bunch of unrealistic, freaky assholes on the left, assholes on the right. And I talked about how the projection thing seems to be something that MAGA has really mastered. Well, Jim Banks did a little projection. remember yesterday when Biden, I didn't want to go into this, but Peter Doocy of Fox News asked him a question, and Biden, under his breath, on a hot mic, said, "Jesus, a stupid son of a bitch." He said that about him. Under his breath, on a hot mic, muttered it. Well, Jim Bakes, this Republican congressman from Indiana, he tweeted out today, "I am so offended. I have never in my life heard a president of the United States be so aggressively anti-media as Joe Biden." It's insane. That's total projection. Because the guy that he supports was the one who coined the phrase fake news and said that the media is the enemy of the people. It's crazy. We're nuts. We're all nuts. This is just fucking stupid. Yet this otherwise, you would think, reasonable representative of Congress is out there saying fucking dumb shit. Just, are you kidding me, dude? That is so disingenuous. And of course you know it, so stop it. Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator, is also trending. Let's see if he's getting a job somewhere. Or is this just because nobody's offering him a job? Breaking news. Oh, they're thinking that Eric Bieniemy might replace Sean Payton in there, wherever. Holocaust. Oh, have a good day. The Holocaust is trending. This is because yesterday, remember we talked about the whole Cheryl Hines, Robert F. Kennedy deal, where Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's married to Cheryl Hines, he's a leading anti-vax guy, but he had a Christmas party and they required everyone attending their party to be vaccinated, even though he travels the country going, "Don't get vaccinated." But when it comes to his party, he's like, "Yes, only my friends." Those crazy lemmings that I sell books to, they want to believe that it's not. I'm just giving them what they want. They want to think the vaccination is wrong, and I'm just going to give them what they want. But if you want to come into my house over Christmas, you better be vaccinated, pal, because everything that I say about the vaccine is a lie. I'm just bullshitting those people because look at them. They're a bunch of stupid people in red hats, and they'll buy anything I say as long as I say something that is pleasing to their... That's who this Robert F. Kennedy piece of shit is. So the other day, he was in front of one of these QAnon crowds going on and on about the vaccine, and he said that it's like the Holocaust, and he made some comparisons to Anne Frank and all that. And so the Holocaust Museum and like Jews all over the world were like, come on, man. Do you not know what happened in the Holocaust? It is nothing like the Holocaust. So it's trending because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has apologized for referring to Anne Frank at a rally put on by his anti-vaccine group. It's the second time since 2015 that he has apologized for a Holocaust reference. Just don't talk about the Holocaust. How about that? Let's just not talk about it. Unless, how about let's limit how we talk about it? How about no more comparisons? That's a good one. If you're not a Jew and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a Irish Catholic rich kid, whose father was kind of a Nazi. Old Joe Kennedy was not for going over to Europe and support. He wasn't. He absolutely was not. So maybe it's not really good for a guy whose grandpa was slightly pro-Hitler, or at the very least argued that America should not get involved in trying to stop Hitler. Maybe it's not best that the grandson of that guy make any Holocaust analogies. That's just me. That if I was on his advising team, I'd go, "Look, man, you've got some troublesome family history down that line. I would just keep your mouth shut. I would keep the Holocaust, Jews, Hitler, all of that. Keep it out of your mouth, Robert Kennedy Jr." Tuesday Vibe, apprehended, Liam Payne. I don't know who Liam Payne is. Do we know who Liam Payne is? Oh, God, it's another NFT thing. Oh, for crying out loud. Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage is trending. Peter Dinklage, let me do this right. Short guy. What is he? He's not the M word, because I know that the M word is bad. Is he a dwarf? Is he a dwarf? Is he cool? Is that I don't know what I'm supposed to call. I just didn't. Hey, little guy. I mean, I don't know. Peter, I love Peter Dinklage. I love Peter Dinklage. The character of his character in Game of Thrones, man, is like the whole reason that I watched that show. The greatest character in the series. And that's saying a lot because there are a crap ton of great characters in Game of Thrones. But Dinklage, that's what you tune in for. So I love Dinklage. He's very upset about Disney making a live action version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. He doesn't. He's not down with it. He thinks that they're just going to be like mocking little people and all of that. So, yeah, I don't know. Vertically challenged individual. Yeah, there you go. Good fellow of short stature. Yeah, these are all fine. These are all fine. But I do think he's okay. I do think that he's okay with dwarf. I think dwarfism is the actual thing that he has. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody. I have no interest. All right, that's it. There we go. So that's pretty much all the things that are trending today. We will jam out to a little John Hinckley. We will listen to a little not now, Spotify. Good Lord. I'm trying to play a little John Hinckley here so that we can end this portion of the show. And Spotify wants to know if I'm interested in any of these new music selections that they've pulled out for me. Oh, it's got to be so schizophrenic too. Whatever Spotify, if Spotify is I should look at that now. If Spotify is suggesting, based on your listening habits, we think you'd like this, I should look at that because I use Spotify, but also my 12-year-old son uses Spotify. So it's like the music is all over the place. Would you like, because it's like Crosby, Stills and Nash and Fetty Wap. Yeah, give me something that combines both my interests in classic 1970s singer-songwriters and modern mumble rapper or whatever the hell Fetty Wap is. I don't know. I just know it's terrible. Here we go. Oh, and John Hinckley. It's like, you seem to be playing presidential assassin music most commonly. Would you be interested in some Sirhan spoken word? Help me to be strong. All right, I gotta quickly let the dog out, so we're gonna go dark, and then I'm gonna come back, and we'll look at the chat room. So I'll be right back. Enjoy the dulcet tones of America's favorite failed presidential assassin, John Hinckley. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. It has been a journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. All right. Stupid ass dog doesn't want to go out. I get up just to let her out, and she doesn't. She's looking at me like I'm standing there. I got the door. She's looking at me like, what? Are you going somewhere? Because if you're going somewhere, I'll go with you. But if you're staying here, I'm going to stay here. Spent the last 20 minutes pawing at the door like she wanted to go out. All right, let's jump into the chat room. Hi, Leslie Collins. Hi, Leslie Gladbach. Hi, Ross. Yeah. Hi, Leslie McDowell. Number one with Leslie's. I just love that we are number one with Leslie's. I dream of a day where I'll get a male Leslie, though. I want to have a male Leslie. Let's see here. Ross Rubio says that he thinks that Tina Fey is the new Lucy, or at least in the running. That's because Mary Tyler Moore died on this day 5 years ago. And I said that it sort of went like Lucy to Mary Tyler Moore to Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Tina Fey is interesting. Tina Fey doesn't do enough, though. Tina Fey doesn't have, 30 Rock was tremendous, but what other TV show has Tina Fey had? Oh, two of the Leslies are you, Leslie? Well, you're just making me feel sad. Okay. What are you doing? Come here. She just made like some weird noise. You okay, baby? Sorry. I'm telling you, dog's acting weird. I mean, she's fine. What's going on, dude? You good? You good? You want to say hi? Come here. You want to say hi? Okay. All right. You just sit there. We'll be done soon, and we're gonna have some chicken, and we're gonna have some salad, and none of that is what you want or what you get. All right. Oh, see ya. Yeah, nice knowing you. Yeah. All right. Like I say, Tina Fey, she does movies. She's like producing Broadway. I'm thinking of people who really just hit home runs consecutively on television, like Lucy and Mary Tyler Moore and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. But yeah, Tina Fey is certainly maybe the new era, isn't going to be judged. But you want to go out now? Get out of the garbage. Get out. I love it when the dog listens to me better than my 12-year-old. It's just awesome. Yeah, maybe the new era, we have to expand because it's not all about television anymore. Maybe we do have to look at people who are doing other things. Okay, Tina Fey, I got no problem with Tina Fey. I love Tina Fey. Leslie McDaniel, Young isn't as relevant today, but he's within his rights to do this. I'm so sorry. My brain is like mush. I don't remember what that was in reference to. Adam Reyna, I mean, he's also been caught up with steroids. LOL, this whole thing is so dumb. Are you talking about Big Poppy? Yeah, Big Pop, absolutely. Yeah, I know. The whole thing is so dumb. It's so dumb. Steve Eaton checking in afternoon, Steve. A-Rod was suspended. Lincecum should be in eventually. He was so dominant for so long. Yeah, but not a first ballot. I don't see any first ballot guys. I don't even know. I think A-Rod is I think that if A-Rod wasn't such a POS to the media his entire career and so controversial in just about and for a lot of time, he played next to Derek Jeter, who was like, the perfect guy. And then you've got this asshole. It was like Derek Jeter. Hi, I'm Captain America. And then you've got like Dr. Octopus next to him. And Dr. Octopus is like, I'm good too, though. Yes, you are good, but you're Dr. Octopus and he's Captain America. Pugs, why are you... Never mind. Ichiro has more combined hits. I think if Ichiro plays here his whole career, he breaks rules. That's a strong possibility. That is Adam Reyna making a very good point about Ichiro. Wasn't Ichiro like 30 before he finally got here? I mean, he played a good portion of his career over in Japan. Byron says, anytime I see Paris anywhere, all I can think is I've seen her vag. Is that just Paris? Because there's a lot of women that I see all over the place, and I've seen their vag. Seeing a woman's vag isn't what it was like seeing a woman's vag in the 1950s. Yeah, pretty much. There are vag aplenty wherever. That's kind of how you become famous. Want to see my vag? Jeff Glenn's got his number one son today, and he's excited because I'm talking about the sports gambling apps he was just telling me about. I'm telling you, man, I am not a sports gambler, and it's weird being in Texas because I came here from Chicago in about a year and a half ago or so. Actually, at this point, it's 2 years ago. The state of Illinois said, we got no rules about sports gambling anymore. Do whatever you want. So everything, sports radio. Folks, if you enjoy your Dallas sports radio, enjoy it now. Enjoy it the way it is now, because it is going to change radically. As soon as Texas will, as you know how much money the DraftKings and all the casinos and the betting apps, there's a lot of money there. They're going to put a lot of money in Texas politicians' pockets, and suddenly Texas soon is going to have the same level of legalized sports gambling as Illinois, New York, all these other states have. And when that happens, your sports radio that you love is going to radically change. I find most of the Chicago sports radio that I listen to to just be unlistenable, because it's not about the games. It's not about the culture of sports. It's not about the teams and who they got. Everything in Chicago sports radio is about the odds, because the sports gambling sites are all who advertise now on sports radio. This has been a major boon to the economic bottom line of Chicago sports radio. They're making more money than they ever have. But the give up is now all they do is hire gambling experts. Like, all of their hosts are now gambling experts. Every show opens with, "Man, did I take a beating last night? I took the prop bets on DraftKings and I couldn't believe, it was a real-time bet. So when Patrick Mahomes had his 300 yards, it's no fun. If you're not a gambler, if you don't have money riding, it's no fun anymore to listen to Chicago sports radio. It's lucrative. Chicago sports radio stations are making more money than ever, but it just ain't my thing. So enjoy Dallas sports radio the way it is now, because I promise you it is going to change, because as soon as that law comes into effect, and as soon as they legalize, you being able to bet on anything at any time with the app in this state, it's going to change. It's going to suck. It is going to absolutely suck. Let's see here. Byron says, "Isn't it tea that helps you poop?" Kombucha. I guess that's what you're talking about. Maybe, but you know what helps me poop? Coffee. That's it. Coffee. As long as I have a cup of coffee a day, I know that at some point during the day, I'm going to be regular. Kevin Barber talking about Paris Hilton and her NFT that she gave everybody in the Tonight Show audience. She has no idea what it is. Her firm told her to do one because it's sellable. Yeah, exactly. Byron says weed is making states billions. It's crazy. It really is. It really is. I know that I saw, after 1 year of legalized recreational marijuana in Illinois, we're no longer bankrupt. It's like well, all this money is being stolen now by grifter politicians. But, for a period of time there, it was like, look at us. We're back we're doing good. And that's all it's going to do. It's just going to be convincing the local politicians how much money they can make, And there's going to be all kinds of cons, like a guy who represents Texas 5th. And I'm not talking about, this is not like the people who are in Washington. I'm talking about our local state reps. Local state reps. Well, I got my cousin one of the 15 dispensary licenses that were allotted for this county. And now my cousin, who was, he was a dirt bike mechanic for 40 years. Now he's worth $50 million because he operates the biggest weed dispensary in Tarrant County. That's what's happening. And the kickbacks will start to come for these local reps. And, suddenly, as soon as the money starts to flow in, that's when you'll see it all change. Anybody who's against, I don't know if the churches will change. And that is a little something that's different here in Texas. The crazy churches, and I don't mean all churches are crazy. I mean the crazy church. There are crazy churches. The crazy churches have a lot of power in this state, and I don't understand it. And I'm telling you, the only thing that's going to defeat the crazy church power is the crazy weed money power. As soon as the crazy weed money comes in, they're going to be like, yeah, okay, first of all, keep your snakes chained up in a box or something when you talk to me. You used to let me walk into your office all the time with my snakes. I'm an evangelical crazy snake dancer. Yeah, get out. The weed guy's here, and he doesn't like your snakes. Your snakes are creeping him out. It'll all change. It will all change. Money changes everything. Lots of people still are completely against dope. Their words, not mine, Leslie says. Yeah, of course there are, but not many. And I know you say lots, but I would argue that far more, it's like 70% nationally. It's like people who want it legalized at the federal level. That number is now trending in the 70s. That just 10 years ago, it was like only 15% of people. That's how much it's changed. And I really do believe that culture has changed it. I believe that people who grew up with like hip hop and come on, man. Dre's Chronic is like those people are now like 40 years old. They don't think the way 40-year-olds thought 20 years ago. I mean, it's a totally different, it's been changed. Weed is mainstream. It is silly. It is embarrassing for me, that there are still states that are making people criminals and sending people to jail over the fact that they don't like to be drunk. That's really what it is. Everybody needs a little something to anesthetize. Whether you're going to your doctor and you're getting Ambien or Valium or whatever it is, Xanax, whatever it is, maybe you come home and you have 2 martinis, maybe you come home and you drink half a bottle of scotch, whatever it is, everybody needs to anesthetize. The world is a stressful place. And when you're a grown up and you're out there doing the grind every day, you need a little something to decompress. So why is it that the people who are doing the thing that is least harmful to their body are the ones that go to prison? I could have made this argument in 1995, yet here we are. Stoned people are harder to brainwash, Byron says. Jennifer Blair Martin tells me that she also got sick off the booster. Oh my God, you and me, man, booster buddies. That was the worst. The booster. Rob Barr says, a couple of years ago, my daughter came to me all happy, telling me she had her period. We were talking about how the studies are showing that the vaccine is doing wiggy stuff with people's periods. A couple of years ago, my daughter came to me all happy, telling me that she had her period. I had to take her to the store. Embarrassed, asked the CVS old lady for help. Mom the next day, oh, we ate beets. Really? Apparently beets make you pee. Really? False alarm. My little girl's still a little girl. She ain't a lady yet. We're boycotting Walmart. Apparently, people on the right want us all to boycott Walmart because there's Walmart, because the Quebec City Council has said that any big box store must require proof of vaccination if people want to walk in. And for some reason, the unwoke mob, would that be the opposite? The unwoke mob has targeted Walmart as being representative of all Quebec City's big box stores. And now we're learning, according to research done by Albert, that there are only 3 Walmarts in all of Quebec. He was a skater boy, says Byron Granger. It's got to be about Travis Pastrami. I would think, God, I want a pastrami sandwich. No, I can't. I'm on a diet. What am I, stupid? I can't afford it anyways. I can't be spending money on pastrami. Pastrami is fancy meat. I can't afford. I do 2 streams a day. By the way, if you want to support the show, you can right there. All those things right there. Help with a tip, whatever. I can't afford fancy meat. Pastrami is fancy meat. That's special occasion meat. Turkey breast, sure. I can do a turkey. That's fine. It's good for me. It ain't fancy meat. If I could afford any meat I wanted, I would just have piles and piles of roast beef, because that's the good stuff, and corned beef, and pastrami, and yeah, that would be it. Those are meat draft, deli meat draft. In the first round of the deli meat draft, the representative from Pugs and Company takes, with the first overall pick, corned beef. Corned beef goes first. In the second round of the deli meat draft, the representative of the Pugs and Company High Noon Show selects roast beef with the second pick. In the third round of the deli meat draft, the representative from Pugs and Company takes pastrami in the third round. In the fourth round, ham. He takes ham. In the fifth round, he takes turkey. There you go. That's a 5-round deli meat draft. Look at that. Leslie, turkey pastrami is cheaper and it does taste great. But you know what it doesn't taste like? Pastrami. It doesn't. It's similar. It's got pastrami attitude, but it ain't the same. It really ain't the same. It ain't. It ain't no Manny's pastrami. Manny's is this badass Jewish deli that me and my kid love to go to in Chicago. They make sandwiches that are like this big, and it's just all their meat is like oh my God. I mean, it's like $30 for a sandwich. No, it ain't that expensive, but it is. It's, oh God. Turkey pastrami. I mean, I've had it because I'm a fat guy and I'm always trying to cut calories, and it's fine. It's good, but it makes me angry. It makes me angry when I eat something like turkey pastrami because I'm like, this is close to being awesome. It's good. I'm enjoying this. This is probably better than just regular turkey, but I get angry because it ain't. It's not quite up to where I want what am I trying to trick myself into thinking I'm having pastrami? Pastrami on rye bread with cheese, like a slice of Swiss, and then pickle. Oh yeah, a couple of pickles, and then yellow mustard. Nah, I know, Pugs. Why aren't you getting like the deli mustard? I don't know. I like I do. I just like the yellow mustard. I like the traditional American yellow mustard. I'm not gonna fight you if you give me some fancy tricked up spicy mustard like in a deli. I'm not. But if I'm building my own pastrami sandwich, it's pastrami, Swiss cheese, rye bread, or pumpernickel. It depends. What are we doing? Do I have a choice? I mean, I'm going to go with the default bread is going to be rye. So and then a little bit of yellow mustard. That's a hell of a sandwich. God, I'm so hungry. Are you hungry, baby? She's just like looking at me. She's like, I'm hungry too. Let's have lunch. Another year on the coach, Pee Wee football. April, talking about Sean Payton, who has informed the Saints that he is stepping away. Another year to coach Pee Wee football, like when he was suspended in that stupid show. April also says, I'm a Real Housewife fan, but I go to other podcasts for that information. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. I wouldn't do Real Housewives justice anyway. I don't know. I get very angry at those women. I just think, ugh. Tina Fey had Kimmy Schmidt, Mr. Mayor, and Girls Forever. But see the difference. We're talking again about the heir to the Lucy, Mary Tyler Moore, Julia Louis-Dreyfus thing. The argument is that Tina Fey should be the next in line, and maybe she didn't star in Kimmy Schmidt. Maybe she was in it. Is she the star of Mr. Mayor? I mean, she's a producer. She's a terrific producer. But I'm talking about, if Tina Fey goes on to star in another high profile sitcom that, has the success that like 30 Rock had, then we'll talk about it. That's fine. But I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she got Saturday Night Live. Then she got, I can't remember the name of the sitcom that she did for a couple of seasons. It wasn't that great. And then she did Step by Step. Wasn't it Step by Step where she played the wacky neighbor? Then she did Seinfeld, which was a massive hit. And then she rolled Seinfeld into Veep, which was another massive hit. I don't know. I'm not shitting on Tina Fey. I just don't see her in necessarily the same as Lucy and Mary Tyler Moore and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Okay, we're up to Jeff says salami, mortadella, roast beef, pastrami, Lebanese bologna. It's not bologna. Boy, it sounds to me like you've had that argument before. What is Lebanese bologna? I don't know. I don't need any new. As my partner Kelly used to say, we are not accepting any new meats. I know what meats I enjoy. I do not at this stage in my life have any openings for new meats in my life. So you can take your Lebanese bologna and you can shove it. Salami's good though. I do like salami. Do you know that if I just gave you my deli meat draft. First round corned beef, second round roast beef, third round pastrami, fourth round ham, fifth round turkey. That's it. Those are my 5. But if I had a 6th pick, like if I had a conditional pick because I traded something away in the year prior, I would take salami. But it would have to be hard cotto salami. Right? Don't give me any of your Genoa bullshit. I want cotto salami. Yeah, Adam. I can't go to Weinberg's, but man, I sure would like to. Oh, you know what? I got to the episode. I don't know if I talked about this on any of the shows, but Ozark. I'm like absorbing, the new season of Ozark. Oh my God, it's so good on Netflix. The new season, I'm loving it. Oh God, it's so good. So stressful. So it is so how does Jason Bateman's Marty Bird, how does he operate with all of this stress? I mean, it's so stressful. I can't watch it and relax. It's hard to watch. But I got to the scene, and I want to say it's episode 3, where they're convincing all the kids to take a family trip. They got to make a deal with like a drug dealer and like something. So they are trying to convince the whole family to go back to Chicago, where they're from. They're in the Ozarks. It's the Ozarks is like a vacation area for people who live in the Midwest and Chicago. So they're talking about trying to convince everybody, the whole family, we should make a family trip of it. Let's go back home. And one of the ways that the sister Charlotte convinces Jonah, the son, to go is she says, we can go to Portillo's and get a chocolate cake shake. And like the kid like smiles. And it's like just such great promotion. I love that Ozark is recognizing the greatness of the chocolate cake shake. The reason I was excited to see that on Ozark is because we know that there is a Portillo's coming to Frisco in the very near future. My son Googles it like every couple of days. Dad, I haven't seen anything new on the Portillo's. Is it like soon? Is it going to open soon? I'm like, no, dude, probably not for like months. It's like, really? It's like, I was hoping like next week. Yeah, you and me both, dude. But it's not. It's going to take a while for us to be able to get a chocolate cake shake. Okay, that's it. I think we're done. I think we've done, what time is it? 2:26, 2:30? Yeah, we're good. 2.5 hours. We'll continue the theme song now. Or we won't, because it's not working. All right, never mind. All right, folks, we'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock for Pillow Talk. Join us. I understand it's a different audience. I see different faces. I see different faces, different names. Pugs and Parker, I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight, but it's usually a quick little 1 hour kind of, hey, what do you want to do tonight? Sometimes it goes a little bit later. And just phantom beginnings. I have got my poetry. I have got my songs. They see me through the lonely nights. Help me to be strong. I'd like to hear him sing about all the medications he's on. How are you? I am like the dancing bear, trained to be the best. I am on a never-ending quest. The music of John Hinckley. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. That was very Beatles French horn. That's, again, I think that what we need to do is like a Tejano kind of horns and stuff like that. What is that called? You guys know what that's called. I don't know what that's called. Be on guard, that is understood. All right, bye everybody. It's lunchtime. Love you. See you tonight at 9 o'clock. Help support the show if you can. Those of you who do, God, thank you. And the rest of you, I get it. But if you're rich and you enjoy this, mariachi. Thank you, Jeff Glenn. I don't know. I think I need to go listen to some mariachi music so I can get it. Because every time I try to add horns to the John Hinckley song, Never Ending Quest, it always, it goes into like a George Martin Beatles French horn kind of a thing. Different way, so baffling to some. I've got an old guitar, that is all I need. See, that was very Beatles. All right, bye everybody. See you tonight at 9 o'clock. Love you. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I'm on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. He said the best is yet to come. I found a different way, so baffling to some. Whoa, whoa. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That
from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.